At 560 AM, 96.1 and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in on what will be the most hyped, the most publicized, maybe the most important week of Memphis college football. Game Day made the decision. It is now official. They tweeted it out themselves. They are coming. It'll be the 74th different school to host Game Day. It will be the 88th different city that Game Day is in. It'll be the first time that they're here. It'll be the first time it will be on Beale Street. So they figured out a way to do it on Beale Street because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the marathon is there also this weekend, which, if you think about it now, that's a built-in crowd. You've got the Memphis fans. You got the folks that just love to come down to Beale, the tourists. Now you got marathoners. If this thing doesn't have a packed audience, I will be shocked.
I don't think it's going to be lacking for a crowd. It's going to be a great crowd, and it is truly a historic day and a historic week and building up to an historic game Saturday night with a lot on the line. The football game's really important.
No question, because if you win this, you have a chance to go to the Cotton Bowl. It's that simple. The team right now, with its foot in the door, is SMU. If Memphis knocks off SMU, I don't know what happens with App State. I don't know where Boise is because they're actually ahead of them in the polls at the moment. But if you knock off a 15 in the country and you're at 24, it stands to reason, doesn't it, that you would move up higher than the others?
I really thought the Memphis attrition this week would have been a few ticks more than it was. I was thinking late Saturday night around 21 or 22, but maybe the narrowness.
Not the way they want it.
Yeah, but maybe the narrowness of it. And on the narrowness front, looking in every Dreamweaver season, you got to have some breaks.
Well, here's how I look at it, and then this is the way I was going to open until Game Day was kind enough to tweet out that they were coming.
Tear up the front page.
I was going to say sports, and I think a lot in life too, but sports in particular always seem to even out. There is no doubt in my mind Memphis had no business losing at Temple. They had no business winning in Tulsa. Tulsa showed incredible resiliency because Memphis dominated the first 30 minutes of that game. Even though it was only a 11-point lead at the half, Memphis had gone up 14-0. They 21-7, 28-14. I never felt like Tulsa could really get it going. In the second half, they just rode their running back right behind their left guard, Chris Paul, and they kept sealing the position where O'Brien Goodson was most of the time, or so it seemed to me from my view. And they just ran it right down Memphis' throat.
If it works, keep doing it.
And, people have talked to me about, well, man, it wouldn't have been that close. The Riley Patterson had missed that field goal after he made it to end the half.
Sports.
And you know what I say to him? I say I think that was a blessing in disguise, and I'll tell you why. The end of the game and doing it the right way, even though maybe he should have looked a little bit more at history, Philip Montgomery. His game plan was to play that ball as close to the middle as he could, get it as close as he could, then use the clock and kick a field goal to end the game and not give Memphis any chance to get it back. And Memphis couldn't stop the clock anymore because they'd already run out of timeouts. So he played it, in my mind, perfectly. Had he been behind by 4 instead of by 1,
go for it.
He would have been running the football.
Out of necessity.
And I'm not sure we would have stopped him because we hadn't stopped him the whole second half.
I would love to know his decision on right or left hash.
Yeah, well,
They ended up on left hash.
They ended up on the left, and then he hooked it. If he had been on the right, would that hook have been through?
It was a golf look-up pull hook.
I'm not sure, yeah.
I'm not either.
It was a pull hook, and I think he misses it no matter what.
I hate it for the youngster.
Well,
I want him to miss, but I hate it for him.
Here's what I hate for him.
Everybody wants to be the kicker except for on game day.
He has now given away for Tulsa and Philip Montgomery, who may be in a little bit of heat now.
Yeah.
He's 2-6. He's given away 2 games, and he gave them away to the 2 teams that are playing for the supremacy in the West and basically for the right to go to the Cotton Bowl at this point in the season. I mean, he's given it to SMU, and he's given it to us. He missed 3 field goals in that game, and he had 2 missed in this one and 1 blocked. I mean, you put a Bears uniform on him at the next level.
Oh, Dave, your kicker. Cody, so yesterday I'm in Nashville for the Titans game, and I told you this.
Yeah.
Drew, I'm going to ask you. You know what the nickname in Nashville
It's appropriate
for Cody Parkey is? Seriously. I mean, there a lot of people, too many, are calling him this. I don't know if to his face, but a lot of people are calling him this. His nickname.
Double doink?
Just Doink.
Just doink.
Doink. You don't want to be known as Doink as a kicker.
No. And at this point,
And it got blocked.
poor
in the
Jacob
playoffs
Rainey.
last year.
I do feel bad for Jacob Rainey.
Yeah.
I would not, if it were me, I'd be going, do I really want to play this game? Maybe I'm good at soccer. Should I go back to soccer?
It's rough. It's rough to be the kicker.
It is. It truly is.
And then yesterday the Titans doubled down on it and brought in the punter on the fake field goal, and he doesn't even have on a real uniform. He has on a little kid's Christmas uniform. They don't have a real uniform on.
That's amazing.
And he got crushed, didn't he? I mean, crushed. Just drilled. And it was a fumble. The Buccaneers got shafted.
Oh, yeah. Poor Bucks. Well, we'll talk to TJ Reeves on Wednesday. Poor Bucks. My poor Bears. Awful stuff.
Poor Bucks.
Wait. Talk about evening things up. When we left here on Friday, and I talked to you from Tulsa, what were we thinking? This World Series is over.
I thought we would have a parade today in Washington.
It's over.
Biggest parade ever. Crowd goes up on forever and ever.
Can you believe, because I'm not sure I've ever seen it in my lifetime, through 5 games, that the home team has not won 1 game.
Well, it hadn't. And if only the Nationals can do this, if they win it, it'll be the first time ever that no home team won a single game. And only the Nationals can do it.
What a game tomorrow night.
But I thought if it goes back 3-2, it'll be Nationals 3-2, just needing a split there to be champions. I never dreamed the Astros would have this supremacy.
Well, tomorrow is definitive in a lot of ways because there's nobody, I think, if I'm the Nationals, that I'd really rather have on the mound, especially since Scherzer is banged up, than Strasburg. And, you said, what's he done? Well, he's done a lot in this postseason.
I think he's acquitted himself.
I agree with you.
2012 decision.
I agree.
And I was hard on him.
You are.
Now, I also was hard on him with, and this is important, and I need to be better than this, with a lack of knowledge. You enlightened me on an aspect of it.
Right. But in the meantime, so here is the guy they really want on the mound. This is the guy they protected for this moment against a guy who's been one of the greatest pitchers of his era, a sure Hall of Famer who can't win a World Series game.
Crazy, isn't it?
And if he doesn't do it this time, he's got that horse collar around his neck forever.
I call it
But
albatross.
if he wins,
he's relieved. He's vindicated.
and they're the World Series champions.
Like he needs a whole lot of vindication because even on a bad day, he's still married to Kate Upton.
Yes.
I mean, just how bad are your days, honey?
That is true. I guess
pitched terribly today.
If you lost another World Series game, you know you are going home to warmth and comfort.
I was terrible today, honey. Couldn't get a soul out.
I love you, baby. It's okay.
Hold me. Be there for me, like you are for me, Dave. Like you are for me.
Well, not quite that way.
Like you are for me. No, Dave, I texted you at halftime of the Tiger game, and the very last words I had on Friday, standing by the front door as we were bidding each other adieu and have a nice weekend, to Drew, I said, just win by one. It was, and it played out.
It was
the
prophetic.
Ultimate trap game. Was that? I mean, when people say trap games, looking back over a big home win over Tulane and ahead to a big home game against SMU and heavy road favorites against a team not very good, the ultimate trap game, and they won by one. That's all that matters. And that's the goal of the sport, is to have one more than the other one.
I really don't know if this had any effect, because it sure didn't seem that way in the first half. But when so much is riding on you winning that game, because the next week is so set up for you, and frankly, it had already been determined that it was going to be the 6:30 game on ABC, so that was already in the books.
Standalone,
now,
is big.
if you want to make it important for you, besides SMU, you got to win the game. Two areas of major concern for Mike Norvell and for Adam Fuller this week. What happened to the defense that could shut down Scotty Phillips and that Ole Miss offensive line? Where is that run defense? And the second is, what happened to you in short yardage situations? There were at least 3 times with a down, third or fourth, and under 2 yards that Memphis did not pick it up. And I know for a fact that Mike Norvell is going to fix that, because we talked about it, and you know what kind of a detail freak he is. I'm certain that'll be fixed, but it needs to be fixed, because if you can't get a yard and a half, then you've got a problem.
What's the D front issue?
That I don't know, but that's Adam Fuller's deal. And
is it a front,
I don't,
or is it linebackers, or is it
enough
men on the line?
For one thing that he mentioned,
play a bear defense, more 8-man front? What?
One thing he mentioned, and this also came into play 2 weeks ago, not last week against Tulane, but the week before at Temple, were all the missed tackles. They had 26 missed tackles against Temple.
All right, everything evens up. Doesn't that even up? If you know how, they know how to tackle, don't they? Yes, they do.
Yeah, but you got to move your feet and get square, and you cannot arm tackle.
You had a down day. Isn't the up day coming back?
You would think so. On
the evening up front.
The thing is, I don't know if part of that was they got worn down and tired, because you know that Tulsa had the ball 22 minutes in the second half.
I listened to most of the fourth quarter driving back from Jonesboro.
That was 3 minutes and 35 seconds.
File this one away for summertime 2020. Opening day next year against Arkansas State at the Liberty Bowl will not be easy. They've got a freshman quarterback that is some sharp ball player out of the Pulaski Academy system. Lane Hatcher. He was an invited, preferred walk-on.
I know he's not a punter then.
No, he was no punter. He was invited, preferred walk-on at Alabama last year, with mostly the deal being, hang around a year and we'll put you on full ride. He wanted to go somewhere and play. Arkansas really didn't want him, and he could be starting for them right now. He could be starting at a lot of places right now in the SEC, and he's just a freshman, really sharp player. Statistically, the number one wide receiver in the country is at Arkansas State, a really solid player. Opening day 2020, file that one away. It's going to be a dandy between the Tigers and the Red Wolves. It will be, and they're really looking forward, and they're glad that series is rekindling.
All right, now that we know that game day is coming, and it'll be on Beale Street, who do you think, and we can let texters participate on the First Bank text line at 67129, who should be the guest picker? So, we've had Penny Hardaway, Marlo Thomas. Ooh, that would be a great combination, because now you'd also get St. Jude in there. Sybil Shepherd, Jerry Lawler, of course, Penny Hardaway. Isaac Bruce has been mentioned.
D'Angelo Williams.
I can't believe no one's texted us Justin Timberlake. Wouldn't that be the biggest entertainment name in Memphis right now?
I think you want to tie in with Penny Hardaway.
I like the idea of Marlo Thomas.
And if legally, which we got to check everything, the very idea that you have to legally maybe, and I'm serious, that maybe have to check with the NCAA if you can, when it gets guest picker time, bring the whole basketball team on stage with him.
Huh.
But isn't that something with the NCAA?
Yeah.
You sure that's not a violation of some sort? Oh, better check. Call compliance. Isn't that something that we have that unwieldy a bureaucracy? And we, the universities, various places, we fund it. And we're scared to death of them.
I would think that you would go with entertainment.
Well, he's pretty entertaining.
Oh, he'd be great. If it was Penny, he'd knock him dead on the thing.
Yeah.
But it seems to me they always go with entertainers. And the guy who thought about Marlo Thomas, that's pretty brilliant. I wonder if that person works for Alsac or for St. Jude.
In fact, one of his very last roles, one of the last appearances he made at U of L, Rick Pitino was guest picker there.
He was guest picker.
And
then it could be Penny.
That was Saturday, and I think he was out the next Tuesday. I mean, it was quick right after that.
Wow. See, I didn't remember. Was that
early
late
September
in his tenure?
Wow. Yeah, he wasn't long for there.
If it is Penny, can we get Chris Rock and have Little Penny there too?
No, that would be brilliant.
But
that is brilliant.
But I would think you would want to highlight this basketball team. Bring that cast of stars up there with you when they close it out. And Corso, he's got to pick Memphis. And how many times will the white flag game be mentioned? I wonder if there's any B-roll out there of that.
I've never seen it, so I don't think there is.
I've seen,
but I've heard a story about
the story's legendary.
15 times.
The story is legendary. This hour, our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Fall Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models, the very few remaining in the 2020s that are rolling in. Always special lease options at Lexus of Memphis. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS 500, and you'll be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is obviously the game day has decided to come, and again, it'll be on Beale Street. But up until then, it's the Tigers' escape from Tulane to keep this thing going. And one play that I want to go back to revisit that will be remembered was Brady White to DeMonte Coxey at the end of the game. If they don't march down, if he doesn't hit that long pass, which sets up the 2-yard jaunt for Kenneth Gainwell's third touchdown of the day, to get you that 1-point lead, we're not talking about missed field goals, and we're not talking about anything else. And I doubt game day would even be here. So that play needs to be remembered. That was Brady White to DeMonte Coxey.
That was big.
I think it was 50-some yards.
And you nailed the call.
Thank you.
Very well done. My top story, Tigers win a white knuckler in Tulsa. Gave up almost 600 yards to Tulsa, but able to survive by one. That's the object of the sport, isn't it? Win by one. Everything evens out. We talked about that. Tigers had one more than the opponent, and now the biggest week ever in the history of Tigers football. Texter, very nicely at 67129 at the First Bank text line said, no way on basketball up there. This is football moment week. I see that sentiment. I hear you. Mm-hmm. I hear you. This is about Tigers football. They've made it. They've arrived. Way to go, Memphis. Way to go, Memphis Tigers. I mean, a lot of hard times.
Can I tell you,
for a lot of years for people.
When I really kind of thought, too, that this had been made, it was at a point in the Tulsa game where at the Michigan-Notre Dame game, somebody sent me a text of the freeze frame of this. During the Michigan-Notre Dame game, up in the left corner came a fly-in with the graphic, Memphis versus SMU next week, prime game.
And that's something
Memphis versus SMU
during
in the
Notre
box
Dame, Michigan.
during Notre Dame, Michigan.
A lot of eyeballs on
That's pretty darn amazing.
Not top story of the day.
Well, this one has to be what's going on in the NFL, where we never saw any of these kinds of trades before. Today, the New York Jets traded defensive Leonard Williams to the New York Giants for a third-round pick. Today, the Miami Dolphins made a trade of a conditional pick, and the Cards, the Arizona Cardinals, get running back Kenyon Drake. More proof positive. These picks are third round than a conditional. These are just to get rid of guys to try to have a bad record and not cost yourself anything in salary, and you're tanking on the year. It's amazing.
It is. And in the NFL, rare have any trades, but especially this number of them. My not top story, the Nationals are having the biggest D.C. collapse ever. And that's saying something in D.C. for collapses. Didn't hardly scratch in 3 home games, and now going for history. No World Series winner ever to not win a game at home. They can, but as good as it felt going back home 2-0, it feels worse now because they're down 1. They're down 3-2. And the parade, the party was all but set in Washington. Sports.
Something else, isn't it?
Didn't Washington do like a run-through trophy presentation? I saw a picture of it on Twitter.
I think at this point, a lot of places do stuff and try to keep it really clandestine. Literally, they've got good options in Houston. Somebody's going to have the champagne celebration. So what the two clubhouse attendants, the 2 clubhouse guys that run both places, hey, let's get together and let's split the cost. And if you guys need it, we'll ship it over to your clubhouse, and if we need it,
right,
we'll have it in ours. But you almost have to have that. Now, one of the most famous, really kind of embarrassing moments, the Red Sox had the clubhouse set up. NBC had set it up for trophy presentation, had ran the graphic. Bruce Hurst has been named World Series MVP of the 1986 World Series, and then the ball gets through Buckner. Dave and I know for a fact the Texas Rangers had bought champagne early in the day of Game 6.
Oh, yeah.
Because we ran into them at a nice wine store out in Chester, in Clayton. And now that was for just the ownership group, their private party stuff. But they showed the stuff coming down in Game 6 in the Rangers clubhouse.
Well, the closest thing that we can relate to Memphis, 2008, a administrative guy I love, who shall remain nameless, brought out the T-shirts. They came out. I don't really know if that was his deal, but they brought them out. And then as it went south, he said, you got to take those back. They had the national championship T-shirts
ready to go,
prematurely put on the bench.
Well, I had just texted you and George. What's the game plan for in the morning? How do we want to treat this?
Yeah.
Because it's the biggest thing ever.
We didn't know we would be treating it as a funeral.
Yeah. And I think you never responded because you were busy calling the game. George said, slow down, we'll get to that later tonight, tomorrow morning.
Those are your top and your not top stories of the day. There is one incredibly huge top story, which normally we would be leading with, but it will become my gold medal. You'll find out about that in just a minute because we got medals coming up. At 4 o'clock, David Cobb, beat writer for the commercial appeal of the Memphis Grizzlies, who got their first win. Taylor Jenkins' first win. And I think it's fair to say maybe an eye-opening, awakening hello,
maybe a
John
ticket
Morant.
Seller. Maybe a ticket-selling win.
Ooh, that was a major performance by the rookie point guard. David Cobb will talk about that. Our coach, John Thompson, down in Atlanta. We'll talk college football. We got the Gould Style coming your way, 4:50. Barrett Jones, more college football at 5. The Big Four from Monday Night Football. This is the second go-around of the Steelers. And
so Big 8 for them.
Yeah. And then
And the Dolphins.
the Dolphins, well,
Starts with Dan Marino, doesn't it?
oh, yeah. Absolutely. Do you have Buoniconti in your
I don't.
top four? Man, he was such a big part of that.
He was.
Of that
the no-name
undefeated-
defense.
Of the undefeated no-name defense. And then, of course, crunch time coming your way at 5:50. This portion of the show brought to you by Supercuts. 15 locations, and walk in the place, you're going to feel good. Well, what do you mean, well, you're going to feel good? No, you're going to feel good because you're going to look good. Have you ever not looked good and, look around and go, woo, that makes you feel good? And they got 15 places you can feel good. I'm talking, go to sportscuts.com to find the closest store to you. And as I said, there are 15. Then go in and talk details. Any kind of haircut you want. Don't worry. If you're 65 years old, if you're 25 years old, they know every haircut. That's their job. And they take it very seriously. And, of course, every cut ends with the hot towel finish. That leaves you relaxed and invigorated all at the same time. Go check it out for yourself. You want to feel good because you look good? Go to Supercuts. Back in just a minute. We got medals and a whole lot more coming your way. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you notice your water heater not heating as well last winter? During the cold winter months, the groundwater is colder and requires more energy to heat the water, and sometimes old, inefficient tanked water heaters just can't keep up. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Conway Services is making now the perfect time for a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll pay you $250 for that old tanked water heater. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
If you're someone that enjoys a truly great steak, then there's only one choice for you downtown. 117 Prime. 117 Prime has lots of different things on the menu, but the main attraction is the steaks. Prepared by chefs that love a great steak, you can choose from the 5 or 10 ounce fillets, the 16-ounce prime, the 8-ounce top sirloin cap culotte, or the 14-ounce New York strip, or the king of them all, the 24-ounce dry-aged porterhouse. You heard that right, 24 ounces of the best steak you've ever tasted. If you're craving steak, then head downtown to the steak experts. Head to Prime.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Fall is fast approaching, and you know what that means. Time to start thinking about covering your pool. The best way to protect your pool, your loved ones, and your pocketbook is with a safety pool cover. Mario's Pools on Exeter and Germantown has the best advertised price on all pool safety covers, solid and mesh. Keep your pool looking great year after year. A safety cover requires less maintenance, saves money on chemicals and water, prevents standing water, and extends the life of your liner. Call Mario's Pools at 552-3399. That's 552-3399. Or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter Road. Plus, he specializes in pool closings. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out his reviews on Facebook. Protect your investment. Call Mario's Pools today, 552-3399.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Just talking about looking good. You know how besides the Supercuts haircut, you look good? You head over to Laurel, wouldn't you? Go see my friends at James Davis. Because all the fall fabrics are in, including those 5-pocket pants in every kind of fabric and fit. That's where the fabric is that stretchy two-way thing that whichever way you move, it moves with you. And they got denim, they got cotton twill, they've got brushed cotton, wrinkle-free travel wool. That's my favorite. It doesn't feel like itchy wool. It's that, and it never wrinkles. So you never, ever look schlubby.
So you can just stuff it down in that bag. And
Yeah,
all comes
that's
out
the
looking
thing.
good.
You're
I know
exactly
what you did
right.
Saturday night. Dave.
Exactly.
You
pack that
I know
in.
you did.
You don't have to worry. You never have to iron.
I'm here for you.
I know you
Not
are.
in the Kate Upton kind of way, but I'm here for you.
I'm so glad to hear that. They've also got the new Stanton custom shirt fabrics. This is, Stanton by now, the only place you can get Stanton, which is the best new shirt technology, custom fit technology ever invented. 3 little measurements and an algorithm that's perfect. The perfect fitting shirt, $98 here in 9 days. I mean, come on. And now they got the fall fabrics. You can't beat it. You can't beat the new custom-made to-measure showstopper coat. If you want to look good in a coat at a tailgate, $6.95, and you're the king. You're the king. Or maybe it's time for tuxedos. You got to start thinking the gala this year. You want to look good in a tux. Why are you giving it to rental places? Get your own tux. They are reasonably priced. And the great thing about James Davis, they always will serve you, including same-day alteration, unless it's a crazy day or some sort of crazy stuff you've got. Same-day alteration. You just can't beat it. Oh, did I forget about the Paul Batenley suits? No, normally $7.95. Rather, $5.95, 2 for $7.95. Can't beat that either. All you got to do is get to James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. We've got some medals coming your way. Apparently, Marshall has an idea on a picker for game day. So we open up the First Bank phone line at 360-8255. Marshall, who have you got?
Well, since it's going to be one big commercial for Memphis, why not tie it into the other big commercial for Memphis? I would suggest Jimmy Smith. He's from South Memphis. And
he's here.
Bingo.
Disney Corp not really in the business of promoting NBC shows.
I understand that.
That's
but
true.
Still,
I think they've had actors from other places. And
it kind of ties in, and I think Caitlin McGee, or I forgot, I'm not sure that's her name, but she was at the Grizzlies game.
That is her name.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Good idea, Marshall. I like that. I still think the best one, because we would tie in St. Jude. I think the Marlo Thomas is brilliant. But I don't know if she ever comes out anymore. You could have Phil Donahue for that matter. We haven't seen Phil Donahue in years. Now I'm going too old generation. They got to have a younger person, right? Isn't JT the right one? Doesn't he go across the board?
It'd work well.
If you can get him. All right.
I mean, regardless, there's not really a bad pick. For whoever it is, it's not like people are going to boo him.
There may be somebody out there that we're just not even thinking about. I mean, that could happen. In the meantime, it is time for precious metals. I got a bunch. I'll start with bronzes because I've only got 1 silver, 1 gold. I got a bunch of bronzes. I'll start with John Morant. 30 points, 9 assists, 17 points in the fourth quarter to get you back in the game, to get it to overtime. A big block on Kyrie Irving, the big assist to Jay Crowder. I got to give him, and I got to give Taylor Jenkins an award too, just because it was his first win. How about that? So the Grizzlies get into the W column, and John Morant was terrific. Jawan Jennings, the wide receiver from Tennessee, is now number 6 all-time. What a game he had against South Carolina. And we got to talk about this a little bit later. If you look at the Tennessee schedule, there's a chance they could get bowl eligible, maybe for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl or the Music City Bowl. But that's out there. They got 4 games left. They need 3 wins. And Jennings had 7 catches, 179 yards, and
big
2
time player.
touchdowns.
He could play for anybody.
Kenneth Gainwell.
And for Jarrett Garantano.
Yeah, he had to throw him.
He's really kind of been a survivor this year. Injured, maligned, criticized. That's just by his coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, had his face mask grabbed.
Touched.
That's more than touched.
That was good morning to Lou Holtz.
Kenny Gainwell, 6 straight 100-plus rushing game. He just keeps making new records all the time, and he had 3 touchdowns in that game. And then Houston's pitching, and in particular Garrett Cole last night, unhittable. The stuff that he had, and did you hear his explanation after the game, how he went to more sliders and breaking stuff, because that really was what was going on for him. And now he's tied the record for the most strikeouts in one single year of playoffs and World Series, and that's 47 Ks. Think about that. And this guy, he is really special.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers of playoffs now to add to the records. I still think the most sacred playoff record is just World Series because it's max 7 games for anybody. Now with the prospect of a divisional or wild card game, 5 in the divisional series, 7 in the LCS, 7 in the World Series. But he has racked up a great postseason.
It pains me to give my 1 silver medal to Bill Belichick, but you can't take away 300 wins. He got them. He got them legit. And now he's only behind the great George Halas and Don Shula. And, he could stick around maybe to become the all-time winningest.
How far behind Shula for one?
I want to say it's like 47 games.
All right. 4 or 5 more this year?
Sure.
10 next year?
Easy.
Or 10 for 4 years?
Well,
Can he go that long?
I don't know. I really do not know. And then my gold, simple. Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods.
1 gold to Tiger Woods, huh?
Goes to Japan. It's the first time ever. Doesn't that just fit? First time ever they ever have a PGA Tour event in Japan. They've had Asian Tour events there. Never, ever a PGA event. The guy wins his 82nd tournament, so he ties Sam Snead.
In the Zozo Championship.
At the Ozo. Listen to this.
Zozo. Z-O-Z-O.
Listen. So now he wins in Japan. He's won in 7 different countries. He's now very close to being eligible to be a representative of the United States in the Summer Olympic Games. He was asked if Tiger Woods, the player, made a statement today to Tiger Woods, the President's Cup captain.
That's like going 4th person, isn't it?
And you know what he said? You know what he said? He goes, he got his attention.
Okay. That's almost 5 people in there.
Listen.
That's a lot of conversation
I
between
think,
1 person in it.
And if you want to know, Sam Snead got to 82 in 425 starts. Tiger Woods did it in 359 starts.
And the next PGA Tour event, World Golf Championships.
Is that Mexico City?
HSBC Champions, November 28th through the 3rd. That is in Shanghai, China.
Ooh, is he staying over there that long? They may be paying him to. They may, you know what? He got a lot of money to go play in that Skins game.
When do we see Tiger win the first time in 2020 on the United States soil?
I don't know. All I know is this. it doesn't break the 18 because we just view majors.
It's big
that much. But I heard Nota Begay asked where he thought Tiger felt it was, and he said it's 1A. There's one majors, 1A, 82. And he's going to get to 83. He's going to break that record for sure. Gold medal, Tiger Woods.
My bronze first one goes to Les Miles in Kansas. They're only 3-5, but marked improvement. I know they'd love to have back the 12-7 loss to Coastal Carolina. That could be the one that keeps Kansas in first year of Les Miles out of a bowl game. Bronze also to Michigan for rushing for over 300 yards on Notre Dame. A bronze goes to, here's the stat line for the last 2 weeks. 0 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, and 635 yards passing. That's for Brady White. Yeah, that's the guy to criticize, isn't it?
Yeah, he's over 5,000 yards now in a year and a half.
And 2 wins. My silver goes to, my first one goes to Astros and Carlos Correa, his third career multi-RBI game in the World Series. It ties him with Pee Wee Reese and Hannes Wagner for the most by a shortstop in World Series history. Also, a silver to the Indianapolis Colts. 14-3 since Week 7 of last year. Every Indianapolis game this year has been decided by 7 points or fewer. Frank Reich really doing a good job. First gold goes to number 1 LSU. Open date this week for LSU. We'll talk about LSU and Auburn at 5 o'clock with Barrett Jones leading up to number 1 LSU against number 2 Alabama on November 9th. Gold medal to Tiger Woods. Number 82, when will 83 be? Gold medal goes to Grizzlies in overtime to get win number 1 for Taylor Jenkins. He'll never forget number 1.
No.
That was a big...
And I can't remember, but somebody went and got the ball for him. Make sure that he...
A lot of basketballs for basketball coaches.
Oh, yeah.
They get overrun.
Well,
John Calipari once said, no more balls.
But
I want one more ball, national championship ball.
But you got to get that first.
You got to get that first one. Also, my final gold goes to the undefeateds in college football. Now 9, Bama, LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Penn State, Baylor, Minnesota, App State, and coming to town Saturday, the SMU Mustangs. NFL undefeateds, 2. New England.
Yep. And my
your
Niners.
49ers.
Yeah.
Well, you picked the perfect time to bail on the Bears.
I'm not bailing on the Bears.
You
Bears?
No.
You bailed on the Bears.
No, I have not.
You bailed
It's
big time on the Bears.
It's just like you guys don't get it.
You bailed on the Cubs and then you bailed on the Bears,
insight.
Dave. You bailed on Chicago.
I look and I see.
You were prescient, right?
And I know when they're going to make it and when they're not.
He bailed, didn't he, Drew?
Matt Nagy. Did it again yesterday. Didn't even try to get more room. Go a little closer for Eddie Pinero.
Outpassed, fewer penalties, and lose. Perfect time for you to bail on them. Good job, Dave.
Not bailing on them. They're always my number 1 team. But I know they're not going anywhere now. Not going anywhere. I look at Mahomes. I look at Watson. Then I look at Trubisky. Now, wouldn't that give you a headache? Do we give? We haven't given a Russ, have we?
Nope.
Jacob Rainey, the kicker from Tulsa. You got to start with field goal kickers. And the Bears, Eddie Pinero missed 2 field goals, a 41-yarder to win. Rainey had missed 2, and he had 1 blocked, and he missed the 29-yarder. 29-yarder that he hooked. I feel bad for that kid. I really do, honestly.
The Bill Belichick of Memphis has a message for you. Tell Wolo that it pains him.
Oh, it pains him that it pains me?
See, man, that's dead ringer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jeff Hudson, man.
He's the guy.
You're good. You are a star.
First bank.
Unbelievable. When he puts that hoodie on.
No. He and people really think it's him. I mean, they really do.
Read it. Belichick will be at game day.
It pains me that it's a silver medal. Oh, Belichick will be at game day. Yeah. And you know how many people? There'll be thousands of people that'll think it's him.
Yeah, I'm calling good
and they're
shot.
going to go, maybe we should make him the picker.
I'm calling it. He gets on stage.
Maybe. He could get on stage. That's good. I like that. So besides the kickers, home field advantage. Never seen it before. 0-5 in the World Series. The home team is yet to win a game.
And yesterday was the first real home field advantage NFL weekend. The roadie's been real good all year. Yesterday was really good for the home team to hold serve at home. I've got a couple, Russ. Dave, Texas not close to being back.
No.
Nebraska.
They should have lost to Kansas, you know that.
Nebraska not close to being back. Preseason polls, Texas ranked 10th. I could see that coming off a double-digit win year last year, playing in the Big 12 championship
and
game.
that quarterback is good.
Beating OU in the regular season game, stroking Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Sam Ehlinger back. I could see them preseason. They just didn't live up to it. Nebraska preseason. And we asked this. Why is a 4-8 team in the top 25 in the preseason? Because it's Nebraska. They're not close
Scott
to back.
Frost. And Scott Frost.
24th preseason. Another rush to Buffalo Bills. 40 straight games. 40 straight without a quarterback passing for over 300 yards or more. And Russ, I can't believe it hadn't broken yet. Any Dan Quinn news with the Falcons?
Nothing.
He's got to be scared every time his phone rings.
You're probably right. Anything else?
That's it.
We take the break. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Weekend's over. You got to restock. We have so much to celebrate this week. Starting tonight, Tigers and Lemoyne Owen, which I will be leaving about 4:30 to go and call. And it should be fun to see if James Wiseman will play and to see this group, if they improve from game 1 to game 2. So we have so much that we might want to celebrate. And I know you're out. So you go to the place where they have all the premium spirits you can want. I'm talking high-end wines. I'm talking great tequilas or bourbons or vodkas. All the new things like those 4 Degree North cocktail cans. Everything you want, they've got, or they've got bargains. All you got to do is just walk in there, tell anybody from the Connor family, I need a little service. Oh, will they help you? They will talk to you about everything you could possibly want to know about spirits or accessories. They have beer, and again, all the accessories right there at Poplar in St. Nick, 4848 Poplar Avenue, that little log cabin that's not so little because there's so much product in the place. Right down from Clark Tower. Go restock at the Spirit Shop. We're back in a minute. We'll take a call or two on game day. David, you'll lead us off at 360-8255 on that First Bank phone line. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Need physical therapy but don't know where to go? Tried physical therapy but had a bad experience? Grab your physician's referral and head to Revolution Physical Therapy at the corner of Goodman and Getwell. At Revolution PT, you'll get one-on-one, hands-on therapy. Better and more thorough than just going to the gym. Revolution is locally owned and staffed by neighbors who care about your maximum recovery. And they accept all major insurances. Certified in dry needling, expert in myofascial release. Always relaxed and friendly. Revolution Physical Therapy is just what you need.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back, and we're going to get to the First Bank phone lines here in a second on game day. We may have confused somebody in here, and if we have, we certainly apologize. There is a marathon. I believe it's a half marathon. It's the Big River Crossing Marathon that takes place downtown on Saturday. We never said the St. Jude Marathon. That is in later in the year, and I think it's in December. Isn't it normally in December? But we did mention St. Jude because we thought if Marlo Thomas, or for that matter, Phil Donahue, if they were the picker, it would be even more awareness for St. Jude. So if that confused you, we are sorry, but it's not the St. Jude Marathon there, but there is a race downtown on Saturday that will have a crowd that will help to feed and make game day even bigger. In the meantime, 360-8255, First Bank phone lines. And David, it is your turn.
Hey, David.
How are y'all?
Excellent.
What about Pepper Rogers?
Ooh. You know, Pepper lives in Washington, D.C. now.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been around for a while. I don't know.
Just a thought. Appreciate you taking my call. And I can't wait till Saturday.
Me too.
Thank you, David.
Me too. How big do you think that crowd's going to be?
Gigantic. Festive. Early. And I told Drew earlier today, and Drew, I didn't mean this at all as a shot, because I have pulled off this rare feat. How old are you, Drew? You're 25, 26?
25.
I did it a time or two in my 20s. The rare quinella, you can be hungover twice in one day Saturday.
I probably could, but I'm not going to sprint this marathon, and that's what Saturday's going to be, is a marathon.
So take it slow and
I'm going to walk it.
Slow and steady.
Not the actual marathon. I'm talking about the day itself.
You're going Kip Keno here, Marty LaQuarrie, Jim Ryan. You're going the long haul.
Yeah, no shots in the morning. You know, They might have a Bloody Mary or a mimosa or two.
What's
probably end up getting drunk? I don't know.
I really don't know. I'm guessing several thousand, because it just started at 8:00 in the morning, and most of the time the game that
I would say in and around that stage, 8,000 to 10,000. Just guessing.
That's the biggest you think that they've had?
No. I would say that they can accommodate. They'll have that easy.
You think
Saturday?
So?
Yeah.
Between Tiger diehards, marathon people that are going, wow, look at what's this, and then just downtown fans that live down there that want to see something unique and go there for a while. It'll be
And
crazy.
honestly, if you live downtown like me, you kind of don't have a choice, because with all the traffic with game day, the marathon, you're not going to be able to leave, so you might as well go to the show.
Let me ask y'all that hung up on location? I'm not. I don't care where they're having it. Just thank goodness they are here, and it's merited and has been earned by the Tigers.
It is. I'm not hung up at all. I would have been fine with Tiger Lane. I do think you have the potential for a bigger crowd this way, so I'm good with it. I think you can find really scenic areas downtown or on Beale, wherever this is. Now, I'm not – somebody did mention earlier, where exactly is this going to be? Is it going to be on Beale, at the mouth of Beale by Tom Lee Park? Is it going to be
I don't know.
Right on the street? I don't know either.
I've heard a pretty good guess, but I'm afraid I might be passing along information that hadn't been finalized, so I'm not going to speculate.
I'll
go
be
where the crowd is Saturday morning.
I don't know.
And by then, you'll have plenty of logistics and details. And that staff at the University of Memphis, they have done a great job. And this one, it's more than earned. To earn game day, first playing weekend in November, that's not anything handed to you.
Let me clarify something, too.
And it takes two to tango. SMU helps.
I want to clarify this because I think it's important. It's because of Memphis that game day is coming. That is as accurate a statement as you can make, that in SMU. The decision as to where in Memphis game day is going, whether that be
it was up for grabs.
Campus or whether that was
Doable.
Tiger Lane or whether that was Beale Street or Tomley Park, wherever it goes, has nothing to do with anything the university's decision-making process is involved in.
That's right.
It is all ESPN. They do all the logistics. They pick it, and you accommodate.
Yeah, they could have had it at Shelby Farms if they'd wanted to. But
heck, they could have had it at the underpass over here on Ridgeway, and I would have gone.
And I brought it up with Greg last Thursday after you slipped away because, and they didn't, ESPN had never been in for a summertime site survey. They did come in. They were sending people here late into the night Saturday.
I've
fresh
seen
from
a copy
the Dakotas.
of the site study.
And a lot of people here all day on Sunday. And I mean, it's people here with tape measures, needing this stage, the canteen area, the green room, the dressing room. It is a production. And Friday, Dave, and I hope you have a chance to go. They will have a press conference or press availability Friday for Kirk Herbstreit, David Pollock, Reese Davis, Desmond.
Is Coach Corso in there?
Coach Corso will be there. I would imagine they'd bring in Chris Fowler and Maria Taylor since they will be here Saturday nights. Well, Maria's part of. They'll have all that Friday. And I was telling Drew about that today, and he said, let me get this straight. A media availability for the media. I said, yeah, like SEC Media Days.
Well, it is the premier college football program. There is no doubt about that. Final portion of our number one brought to you by Family Leisure. We're sitting in the Family Leisure studios, and I got to remind you the Man Cave sale going on now at Family Leisure. 3-piece theater seating sets, $9.99. Massage chairs, $6.99. Pool tables. I love those things. They start at $14.99. Shuffleboard tables starting at $19.99. You can complete your Man Cave today just by going to Family Leisure. Oh, by the way, still needing to close down your pool? Call Family Leisure today to get on the schedule. And if you mention us, Sports 56, Wolo and Stats, whatever it is, $20 right off that price. I-40 and Whidden Road, the best. Family Leisure. Hour number 2 right around the corner. This is the Monday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair bill this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair bill up to $1,500, even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us your repair receipt from any company and we'll buy your repair back. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in on that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioners get old and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs could almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
When you're sitting at work downtown on any weekday and you're thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, just think about 3rd and Court. Every day there's a different lunch special, and they're all really special. On Monday, it's the meatloaf. On Tuesday, it's the smothered pork chop. Wednesday, it's the incomparable fried chicken. Thursdays, it's Salisbury steak. And on Friday, the perfect fried catfish. When you're thinking about lunch during the week, there's only one place to think of downtown. 3rd and Court, where the daily specials are really special.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
This is Carl on his motorcycle.
Let's ride till we run out of gas.
And this is Carl off his motorcycle.
Also, what is very different than teak, people confuse the two.
On his motorcycle.
Hey, check out that view!
Off his motorcycle.
Let's do puzzles in the break room.
On.
Look at all that open road!
Off.
Look how long my fingernails are getting.
You're better on your bike. Progressive helps keep you on it. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Yes. Hour number 2 on a Monday, where it was announced game day is coming. Saturday night, 6:30. Fowler, Herb Street, all the gang.
It's a marathon day.
ABC primetime game. Memphis, SMU, the winner with their foot in the door to get to the
If you had, hypothetically, if you had your first adult cocktail during the game day open, and you just went one an hour.
8 in the morning?
And you just went 1 per hour through the clock hitting all zeros Saturday night at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
That's 10 o'clock.
That's 14 hours of drinking.
That's 14 drinks.
Why can't I start till 8?
I said 8 o'clock when they.
No, I wake up. I crack my first top. So I'm waking up at 5:30. First beer is gone by 6:30.
4 letters. UBER. 4 letters. Pace yourself, Drew.
I will. I'm going to try.
If he's doing that with beer and he's eating a lot.
And Drew was telling me.
That diet.
Can I tell the conversation you had with your dad today, or is that confidential?
No, you can say it.
Drew was telling me he was eating lunch today with you eating with your dad, and his dad asked him, what's the one thing you have to do Saturday for posterity, memory's sake, to remember? Mm-hmm. And you said?
I have to get a picture with the Washington State flag.
Great answer.
That is the one thing I have to make sure I do.
Because they've made it to every game day.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to have Bob Carpenter on Wednesday.
I'm trying.
Bob, original game day guy.
Yeah. We've had that story. Remember, he recanted it.
One of the big career moves ever. You can't blame him, but Craig James rolling with game day. I mean,
oh yeah,
big star.
Well, he got hired away from CBS because of it.
Got hired for NFL and CBS, and then it didn't really work out there. And Kirk Herbstreit became Herbie.
It made it for Kirk Herbstreit.
Sure did.
Because Craig James was really, really, really good at it, by the way.
Kirk Herbstreit was, he had a career really blossoming to get that when there was opening, obviously. But he was mostly local Columbus radio. We knew him and saw him around with arena football.
Could be Barrett Jones in a few years.
I mean, he needed that big showbiz break, and Craig James kind of Wally Pipped himself.
He did. Well, not really, because he went for
you always take the network cash.
No, it was a much bigger job, a lot more money.
But it didn't work out, and
no. Well,
zero.
How many guys you think leave good jobs to go take Power 5 jobs and make big money for 5 years and get the X?
Good point.
It happens. And you know what else? As good as Craig James was, the chemistry, and I don't think we can, and this is a good question to ask Herbstreit if you're at the media availability, because I'd love to hear his answer. I've never heard him ask this. But his rise, a lot of it, I think, had to do with this great chemistry with Corso.
So true. True.
And I'll be honest with you, I've just admired Herbstreit and liked him even more for when Lee had his stroke, and
he helped him out.
He has come back, and at times he struggled a little bit. There's never been a more generous, nice guy on the air than what Herbstreit has been to Corso.
You can tell he's really into him, and his children lovingly, affectionately call him Scooter, his nickname from his FSU playing days. And I think the best game days through the years, and now we've watched them grow up, and they're playing high school football in the Nashville area. and it's usually at an Ohio State game late in the year, is when he brings the children up on the stage. And, we've watched them from infancy now to being, young men.
No doubt. I'll tell you before we join with David Cobb, this hour of the program is presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. I have got to go down and see Chris True. I have got to go chat with him about some of these new products like the new Palisade. He was so high on this new automobile. This is a bigger SUV than my Santa Fe, and I love my Santa Fe. There's even more technology in this, what could be an 8-seater of a vehicle. And, of course, it's just like my Santa Fe or the Kona or an Elantra or a Veloster. All the new products, all the new cars at Homer Skelton Hyundai, they get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Every new car. And, of course, you can't beat the service. There's shopper assurance, too. Ask Chris True what that is all about. Just get on Highway 78. It's Lamar in Memphis. It's the very first exit in Mississippi. It's Craft Road. Turn left. You'll see the way car business should be done. You'll see the greatest marriage between technology and service. They call it Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Ja Morant went crazy. And Taylor Jenkins got his first win. There to chronicle it all was David Cobb, beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, who joins us in this time slot every Monday. Good afternoon to you. And I know that had to be a lot of fun. And I do think that was sort of the coming out party for Ja Morant.
No doubt. That was the most exciting game of my 1 year on the Grizzlies beat. I'm so jazzed that I think Ja Morant is the guest picker.
Huh.
Maybe so.
That would be interesting.
David Cobb weighs in on guest picker.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be right. We throw out enough guesses, David.
I mean, he played at Murray State, so his feel for major college football probably isn't the best. But when you're talking about star power in the city, people other than Penny Hardaway, right now he's pretty high up there.
Where's Tony Allen? We forgot about Tony Allen.
Yeah, he's around. I don't know. Josh probably lost. I think they've got a shoot around probably Saturday morning because they play the Suns. Not that anybody cares or will remember that the Grizzlies have a game Saturday night, but they do. So John might be a little busy, but I'll make my case for him anyway.
That's a good one. He made a case yesterday for really a spectacular first week of the NBA, but he wrapped it up yesterday with one of the fun, classic early season wins of all time.
17 points in the fourth quarter. And more than that, having the energy and sort of the mental stability left after all of it to make the block on the game to overtime. All the phenomenal highlight plays that Ja Morant made in that game, that one was most impressive.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I was trying to think which was the best play. Was it that dunk? Was it the block of Kyrie Irving? Or was it what ended up being the great winner? He comes down in his mind. He thinks he's going to take the shot to try to win the game. He's got two defenders on him, and he hears Crowder saying trailer, and he, with practically almost not looking, shovels it right behind him to him. Step in three, nothing but net. Which is the one that was the most important and most impressive?
I'm not begrudging anyone who chooses the pass in OT or any of the other critical drives to the basket in the fourth quarter, but I'm going with the block because, that was a veteran move. Kyrie Irving has hit certainly dozens of those game-winner type shots in his career, and he's probably licking his chops when he comes out of that timeout and sees that Ja Morant is on him. Irving scored 37 points. He was great. He was great yesterday, but Morant, I thought it was funny. Solomon Hill told me after the game that I think Ja Morant would have felt disrespected if we'd put somebody else on Kyrie Irving in that moment. And that, I think, kind of speaks volumes to the all-around player that Ja wants to be. And his offense is elite. His defense is not elite yet, but that was an elite defensive play. And that moment pushed it over the edge from, wow, that was a fantastic performance for a rookie, to, oh my gosh, this guy is a budding star, And so To me, that was the most impressive play. Staying down on the pump fake and then blocking Kyrie Irving in a moment that Kyrie has absolutely thrived in over the years.
And the Grizzlies really did have their moments all week in the first week of the year. Wednesday night on the road, the season opener at Miami. First three quarters fine, fourth quarter not so fine. Friday night, a little bit of the same thing, more down the last 6 minutes of the game, and then get that win yesterday. So we're going to do this, David, every Monday during the year. You ready?
Yeah.
Give me, after a 1-2 first week of the year, give me a gigantic Grizzlies overreaction and for the positive and an overreaction for the negative.
Overreaction for the positive after yesterday. I've all but said it in the first couple minutes here, but John Morant's an all-star by year 3. I don't know how you can watch that game yesterday, and maybe it's not an overreaction. There's probably a lot of people out here who think that sounds perfectly rational. That's still an extremely difficult bar to reach. But if you think about 3 years from now, there will start to be a changing of the guard in the Western Conference. The days are numbered for some players who have been up there in this league for a while. And so I think John Morant will start to kind of crack that all-star category 3 years from now. And so that's my bold overreaction, even if some people think that it doesn't sound too ridiculous. But as far as an overreaction in the negative, I would say that there's not a chance in heck that the player who is eventually going to be the Grizzlies' starting shooting guard is on this roster right now.
All right. That's pretty reasonable. Here's a reasonable one. By the end of the year or end of 3 weeks, we could be at this one. Grayson Allen's not really going to contribute anything.
Yeah, I would be surprised. At the same time, though, this front office saw something in him because last week they opted to pick up his third-year player option. And that's not something they had to do. And that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that they can't cut him or trade him or just whatever. It's not like he's on the hook for some crazy amount of money in his third year. He will still be, very low paid compared to, the totality of the money that's involved in the roster. But they picked up that option, which I thought was a little bit of a sign that they see something in him long term. So his performance does not back that up, though. And he's not really done much at all since those first 2 preseason games against non-NBA teams. And maybe that's kind of maybe a great player against bad teams. I think that's probably kind of what Ivan Rabb is. But there's some guys who are who they are, kind of regardless of the competition level. I look at Brandon Clark. But then there's guys, and I think Grayson Allen is one of them, who is clearly superior against inferior competition, but is just not going to have what it takes to be effective with the style that he plays, at the highest level.
When we get to the Martin Luther King game, who will really be the star of this team? Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson?
I think it's going to be Ja, because as you saw in the moment, in several moments throughout the game yesterday, Jaren just kind of disappears. And this offensive system kind of allows for that because they're getting up and down the floor so quickly, and they're so quick on the trigger to shoot threes, and that's not going to change. Those are staples of what this team is going to be under Taylor Jenkins, and it's not going anywhere. So, yes, there's going to be times when they are intentional about feeding Jaren Jackson Jr., but I don't know that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be a guy who touches the ball every time down the floor. Ja Morant is. When he's on the floor, he's going to get the ball in his hand, and he's either going to take a shot or he's in all likelihood going to make the pass that leads to a shot. And he's going to have, I think, a higher impact from a star standpoint on this team than Jackson will. Jackson will be a defensive stalwart, and I still think he could end up averaging 16, 17 points a game. But just in terms of the perception and everything that being a star is in the NBA, Morant is arguably already ahead of Jaren in that regard.
That is interesting because I kind of wondered when the plug was pulled last February on a thigh contusion of whether or not we were building Jaren Jackson Jr. up too much. I just hadn't seen enough. And I haven't seen enough to say he's not going to be a great player, and that Brandon Clark, him, and Morant, and whoever comes next, maybe it's that wing guard you're talking about that hasn't come yet, that'll be the big four, or whatever we're going to call them, core four, whatever it may be. But I think we need to be, like you were saying with Ja, we need to be patient. Don't jump the gun on Jaren Jackson Jr. yet till you see a little bit more. And one of the things for me that was slightly disappointed, and this could be because he's still so darn young, but he sure didn't put on the bulk that I thought he needed to if he was going to take on the rigors of being a guy who was going to play somewhat inside on occasion in the NBA.
Yeah, his development is going to be a process. He's still 20. He still would just now be a college junior had he not entered the draft after 1 year. So, and he's young too. I mean, he's 20, so he's young for his grade, so to speak, or his graduating class. This is a system that I don't think is as naturally tailored to his strengths and his comfort zone as the system they played last year was. I mean, Jaren's comfort zone is back to the basket or operating in the paint or near the block. And this offense is not designed to facilitate those looks on a regular basis. I mean, the old-fashioned dump it into the post sort of thing, that's an occasional wrinkle. And to this point, it's been mainly reserved for Jonas Valanciunas. The hopes that the Grizzlies have for Jaren Jackson Jr. is that he will expand his game beyond that. Now, we saw Valanciunas hit a few threes the other night, but to a certain extent, the book is written on who Jonas is as a player. The Grizzlies hope that Jaren Jackson Jr. can become comfortable with the ball in his hands out past the three-point line, not just to heave up a three, but to dribble, but to be a playmaker, to be somebody who can maybe even facilitate the offense, and dare I say it, on occasion, look like Giannis, coming from the system that Taylor Jenkins came from. So those elements of his game are really going to be challenged this year. And I don't think that it's necessarily going to be pretty all the time, and it hasn't been to this point. He's gotten buckets at certain times, but they've sort of been in the format that they came in last year. And as we saw again yesterday, they just go long stretches of time where the rhythm of the game and the flow of the game is such that those looks are not there. And I think it's going to take Jaren a while to get acclimated. I'm not necessarily worried. I just think that this is going to be a year of 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And sometimes it might be 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. And hopefully, though, you look up at the end of the year in March and you say, oh, he's added this to his game. Oh, he was way more comfortable there than he did in November. And hopefully you start to see those things.
Any steps in there for Andre Iguodala? Will he ever wear a Memphis uniform?
Nope, still not going to. I think that the front office, I think a lot of teams around the NBA were calling what they probably saw as a bluff by the Grizzlies. They probably looked at the Grizzlies roster with the crunch that they had in training camp and thought to themselves, they're not actually going to carry Andre Iguodala onto their 15th roster. They're going to cut him or buy him out before the season starts. And the Grizzlies answer that by saying, no, actually, we are going to carry him into the season on our 15-man roster, and we're going to cut Ivan Rabb to do that because we believe so firmly that we're going to get a return for Andre Iguodala that is more valuable than Ivan Rabb, or in this maybe Miles Plumlee, who was the second cut. That we're gonna have Iguodala take up a roster spot. So push will come to shove at some point before the trade deadline, and maybe well before then, when the Grizzlies cash that chip in. And is the return that they get for Andre Iguodala more valuable to them than Ivan Rabb? If the answer is yes, then they've won the ordeal. If all they get is a well-protected, or I guess a second-round draft pick 5 years out into the future, it's hard to say that. So I think that they're confident there's at least a chance they get a first-rounder or some sort of player that can actually be a part of this thing moving forward. Because if they weren't confident about that, I don't think they would have cut Ivan Rabb.
In these first 3 games, I think we've learned this is going to be a fun team to watch, as long as they don't try to do too much of load management and come up with
Right.
injuries to try to make sure they keep that pick. This could be sort of an entertaining year. They have been in all three. They finally won one at the end. Did they learn to win, do you think, from this?
Yeah, not permanently. They got their first taste of it, and that's so important. I mean, I just can't begin to express like how important it is for them to intermittently have some wins, especially in close games like that, and especially at home throughout the season, because you don't want to look up and be going to L.A. Tomorrow night and be 0-4 after that. You come home, you got 3 home games, and now the narrative is, okay, are these Grizzlies ever going to win? You know, and so that was so critical, I just think, to validate what they've been building over this last month. And I do think that Ja was a different player in the fourth quarter yesterday than he was in the first 2 games. I mean, he put the team on his back as a rookie, as a 20-year-old rookie, after they had really struggled for the first 2 games. So, yes, I absolutely think that Ja learned in those first 2 games what it meant to win. And I don't see how you could be anything other than thrilled with the way he responded and the way he, like I said, put the Grizzlies on his back in the fourth quarter of that game.
He is David Cobb, Commercial Appeal Grizzlies beat writer, on his way to Los Angeles tomorrow. What are you most looking forward to seeing?
It's going to be a very short trip. I'm leaving in like a couple of hours, and I'll get in around midnight local time. Word is their shoot around is out near Santa Monica, so maybe I'll get to go over to the pier after shoot around. If I can do that, it'll be a success.
Enjoy. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, David.
That is David Cobb.
I wonder what landing at LAX looks like with the fires, especially at nighttime.
Well, the fires are mainly
north.
They're north of San Francisco. So
there's some in Los Angeles County, though.
Are there?
Yeah,
but
LeBron James evacuated his home today.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. When I saw that story, I related it to, I thought he was staying for some reason at some point in Northern California. So that was his house
in LA County
that he had to evacuate. Okay. Yeah, you probably will see it then. Because I was thinking it was only it's north of San Francisco in Napa, Santa Rosa area.
They just had it last year.
Yeah, Napa did. Well, they got it again. I mean, it's north of Santa Rosa, about 20, 30 miles is all.
Your
Santa
sister
Rosa,
out there?
My cousin. I talked to her today.
Where's your sister live?
Sister lives in Oakland.
No, but okay there?
Oh, yeah. Nothing there. Yeah, I think they had their power out once because of the fear of it.
Mm-hmm. The rolling blackouts.
And that's it. And that's the other thing. You're talking about 2.5 million people in Northern California that, as a precaution, they have no power.
Frightening.
And they're not sure when it's coming on because there's no rain in sight and the winds are quite robust.
Good week for the Grizzlies, 1-2. And
I think so.
Competitive,
you know why?
Yeah.
Here's why.
That's the year.
I think we all know. We all picked what the most anybody picked was 28 wins. So we all know what this team is all about, which is growing and getting better. I think the first 3 games have been entertaining enough where if they play like this all year and they win their 25 or 30 games, that'll suffice. As long as they don't do the tank job. And that, because if they did, that would be 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And
win something in the teens.
Yeah. Or just not try to win at all. These guys, at this point, these 3 games, they've played hard. They've competed. They wanted to win, just like they did last night. Just quick, Lemoyne tonight, they have 7 guys from Chicago on this team, 6 from Memphis. So it's a Chicago-Memphis kind of flavor here. 1 guy's from California,
last
1
tune-up
guy's from New York. It is the last tune-up. Last year, just so you know, Lemoyne was 22-10. They played in the championship game for their conference for the right to go to the NCAA Division II playoffs, and they lost to a team they'd beaten twice miles in the regular season. And they've got a bunch of those guys back, plus a couple of young guys from Chicago that are really pretty good. One pair of brothers, and so maybe it'll be interesting.
James Wiseman played tonight.
Last year it was 122-60. The average score in this series, I figured us like 120 to 65.
Pretty bad. Wiseman play?
Don't know.
Game time decision.
Don't know if Damian Baugh is going to play.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't matter for tonight. But I would think you'd want at least
next week
James Wiseman to run up and down a bunch and play in a game before he plays in one for real.
A week from tomorrow, the season opener at home against South Carolina State. 2 weeks from tomorrow, the game in Portland against Oregon.
Man, I got some traveling coming up, that is for sure. So that'll do it for me. I'm going to slip out of here to go do that Lemoyne-Owen game. We got plenty, though, still coming your way. John Thompson will join us in a minute. Then we got the Goulds. We've got Barrett Jones, who he did the Auburn LSU game. So we'll get his sense of all of that. And the Monday Night Big Four also coming your way. So it'll be busy here for sure. I'll see you again tomorrow. I'll let you know this final portion of the show brought to you by the Commissary. That's the Germantown Commissary and the Collierville Commissary. So the Collierville Commissary is the new one that's 3 times the size of the one in Germantown, but it's still the same queue. That's the beauty. It's still the same queue. Still slow smoked hickory style, and it is Memphis style all the way. And still the deviled eggs, still the great desserts, still the iced tea, still the shoulder, still the ribs. Oh, yeah. And a drive-thru. So you've got so many reasons to go check out the one in Collierville. That's the newest one. Don't forget, though, they still got the quaint one in Germantown. The Collierville Commissary, though, so easy, so big. Great place to watch Monday Night Football on a night like tonight. Go in there, get Q. We got screens all over the place. Go see it. You'll love it. It's the Germantown Commissary and the Collierville Commissary, Poplar and Houston Levy Road. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infinity of Memphis, and online at infinityofmemphis.com.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you back in. Dave on his way downtown to FedEx Forum, where he will call the Tiger action tonight. Final exhibition game of the season against Lemoyne and the Magicians. 7 o'clock tip downtown at FedEx Forum. Week from tomorrow night, the opener, the home opener against South Carolina State. Tigers on Saturday with the big win against Tulsa. Yeah, it took some help. The poor kicker for Tulsa. But, look, we feel badly for him. But that's sports. For the Tigers to win, he had to miss. And he missed against SMU a few weeks before that. You know he's crushed, and it's a tough feeling, but that is sports. There's a winner, and there's a defeated team. And for the winner to win, the defeated team had to do things like that for the Tigers to win on Saturday. But they did prevail, giving up almost 600 yards of total offense to Tulsa. Really the first time all year the defense has really allowed that kind of output against them. To talk college football with us, he joins us on Mondays at this time. John Thompson, a longtime college football assistant and head coach in this area. He joins us now to talk college football. And, John, we start right there with the hometown Tigers, everything breaking their way, and for SMU in the AAC. This coming Saturday night primetime game on ABC with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit calling the game. And it'll start bright and early on Saturday morning on Beale Street at 8 o'clock when the eyes of college football will be on Memphis and on Beale Street and the Tigers. And that was through hard work by both parties, Mike Norvell and by Sonny Dykes.
Well, what a great thing, man, for Memphis football in the Mid-South, man. That is exciting. That is really good. And, and Memphis deserves it. Memphis football deserves it. SMU coming in there. Both teams ranked. Sonny Dykes has done a great job. And obviously Mike Norvell has done a great job. And those guys kind of intertwine a little bit. Sonny more, a lot more from the Mike Leach family, Hal Mummy, Mike Leach, and doing that. But they both got a lot of spread in them and a lot of toughness in them, too. So what a fun time that ought to be.
Saturday night, I was over at Jonesboro at the Texas State against Arkansas State game, Johnny, and a lot of Arkansas State people were remarking to me, and I remembered it. Opening weekend of college football, SMU barely got out of Jonesboro, winning 37-30. In a dream year, in that magic carpet ride year, you have to have some luck. They had some that night at Jonesboro, and Memphis had a lot of luck Saturday night in Tulsa, but you have to have it.
Well, no question. I mean, the guy pulling the field goal or missing it with Memphis in that game. But that's what happens. That happens with everybody. There's going to be a game for you to stay undefeated or for you to get in a playoff spot. That's just part of it. Like you said in the opening, football usually the team that wins makes the least mistakes. But man, these are two good football teams. I mean, I'm a little concerned about Memphis's defense. Tulsa put up a lot of yards on them, and third downs were an extreme problem for Memphis, and they've got to get, and I'm sure they will, but they got to get that fixed. But as long as you got Gamewell, as long as you got White, but you're going to do things. But they got to fix some third downs, and they got to be able to hold on to some leads. That's been a thorn in their side for the last couple of years.
Yeah, nothing more dispiriting to a defensive team, to the 11 that are out there, or to a coaching staff on the sideline when you get in that methane gas coming under the door of people making every third down they see. I mean, it gets the silent killer, isn't it?
Oh, you take turnovers, third downs, and explosive plays. You can throw turnovers in there. The two critical elements in the games are explosive plays and turnovers. But you got to get off the field, and you got to stay on the field. You got to make third downs, and you got to get off of them on third downs. That's the money down in any kind of football at any level. And that was a Tigers' problem on whatever night it was. I get confused
Saturday.
what night. I guess that Saturday
that was
night.
Saturday.
I watched the SMU on Thursday, I guess, and those guys. You know what? And SMU's done a really good job. And Rhett Lashley, who we all know, and I coached with Rhett at Arkansas State. He's from that Gus tree and spent a little time at UConn, and now with Sonny Dykes. And Sonny Dykes is a good hard-nosed football coach, and I think that's a good football team. Obviously, Buechele is a good quarterback. He was good enough to play at Texas for a while, but they'll have some tricks up their sleeve. That's going to be an exciting game. It'll be. Have they called you? Are you going to be the guest picker?
I am not. I will be on the planes at Auburn. So even if they call,
okay.
I won't be able to be there Saturday morning
Well,
at 8
okay.
o'clock.
I thought you were my number one pick.
Well, thank you, John.
To be the guest picker.
And it probably would have worked out if I didn't have to be gone with Ole Miss. It probably would have worked out. You know where I'll be. I'll be in Montgomery, where every road team stays.
Stayed there a lot of times.
Oh man!
Well,
after I get to about Prattville, the car just pulls into that hotel complex in Montgomery.
It hadn't changed much, I doubt, over the last 15 or 20 years. Yeah, I've stayed in that hotel myself a few times.
But it won't be too bad because we play Saturday night. When you play the 11 o'clock game, between getting there late on Friday and up early on Saturday, I mean, you just kind of take a nap at that hotel. It's not like you really stayed there.
No, that is true. We're playing a later game. Well, just hope you make it back safely. That's
the goal.
We took a bus coming back from that game one time, and that was not a fun trip. But that's what happened.
You mentioned Texas and Shane Buechele starting there, son of the former Major League Baseball player. Johnny Texas is not close to back. I didn't really expect him to be this year. A lot of summertime hype after the bowl win over Georgia. They have 3 losses, and they're lucky they don't have a 4th one to Kansas.
Yeah, it may not be over with yet. Yeah, when you throw 4 picks, I mean, the guy's he's played like John Wayne. I'm talking about Ellinger, but he's played really good, and he's the one that, after the bowl game talked about being back. When you throw interceptions like that, but I tell you what has concerned me again, and it really is what I look at, closer than anything else. Their defense has played very poorly. They're not. I mean, there is no reason that Texas should not have a very good defense. I mean, ever. I mean, the way you can recruit and the players in Texas, there's no reason that you shouldn't be a good defensive team. And they're not. They're not a good defensive team. They're very inconsistent. They don't have the playmakers that they should have, and and until they get that, I mean, they're just going to be a so-so team. I'm telling you what, hey, Baylor may be. I don't know. It may be. It could either be SMU or Baylor that may be the best team in Texas this year.
They sure could be, and that's a good battle in this week in the polls. And SMU fans and friends of the school, alums, they have to love looking at the AP poll. they're at 15 in Texas down there. Others receiving votes.
Oh, I know it. I know it. Well, it's really fun for those of us that were around back, in the day. The most electric game that I've ever been involved in, actually on the field and coaching, was the '82 game with the Pony Express with Dickerson and James in Arkansas, and played in the old Cowboy Stadium. Unbelievable, the electricity.
Oh yeah, in '82, the tie game.
'82, yeah. And for those guys to happen, what happened to them, and then the death penalty coming back is really, really a good story. Now, I don't want to make it this about SMU. I mean, this is a great thing for the Tigers, man.
And a great thing for the American, for the AAC.
No question. No question. And I'm so happy that game day's there. But this is, from everything being Memphis has been this and been a basketball school and all the things, people have known that Memphis could get it done. And it was just so close a few times. But now you got to put a stamp on it.
Sure do.
This is the real deal. And I'm excited for Memphis and really excited for the town. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game as a football coach.
In this week-long publicity.
This football game.
This week-long publicity. That 82-17 tie, I know you'll remember the Nathan Jones play that really changed the pass interference penalty. That was outlandish, that call. But also, do you remember Eric Dickerson was running out of bounds, and he wasn't trying to clothesline him, but he inadvertently did, trying to hold him up. Big Alfred Muhammad almost decapitated him on the sideline. Do you remember that, Johnny?
I do. I remember Big Al on the sideline there. I remember Coach Holtz losing his watch during the game. He took off his watch and threw it. There's so many things. The first play in that game, I can remember Craig James. It was a toss sweep, very first play, and he's coming around the edge, and his face was as bright red as any person I've ever seen in my life. And I thought, oh, my goodness,
he's ready.
Look what we got. This is going to be the effort in that game. Gary Anderson, Billy Ray Smith, Ron Farrow, Danny Walters, and they had Michael Haney, James,
Marquise Pleasant. That good nose guard that was the shot putter that played for the 49ers. Man, they were loaded. So SMU really went to where, and they're coming back. And Tiger football, that forever the Tiger football had its moments. And now to have this run of consistency, all building to the big game on Saturday. Looking back at last week, Alabama with Mac Jones, they needed him in there. They needed him to have run time because they may be preparing to play him more the rest of the year, because everybody's waiting on Tua's return, or if he can return.
Well, they may be, and he did an excellent job. I mean, and I think the difference in what Alabama did with Jones, and then really, and I'll throw it back to LSU and Auburn, and what Auburn did with Bo Nix. Bo Nix is still a freshman, and he never was comfortable, and and Alabama let Jones be comfortable. They started out with some easy tosses and just kind of expand. It's like the long toss in baseball. They started out slower, and he just kept on throwing the football and got very, very confident in playing that way. And Bo Nix against LSU never was comfortable, and I think that's so much of that comes down to you got to get that guy feeling good there. But who knows about Tua? It looks like that's what the commentators talked about the whole second half about. I think I know more about the tightrope now than I've ever known about since I took kinesiology in college.
Oh, no
but
kidding.
That's yeah.
And every time I heard them say Mac Jones Saturday, I was hoping that Matt Jones was the Razorback quarterback. And every time I hear them say the tightrope, I think it's the Archie Bell song, "Do the Tighten Up."
Well, that's I tell you what, he could go in and play for that team. I mean, play well, and they could still win. They did it in so many ways the other night.
Their defense is getting better.
defense is getting much, much better. Jennings had a huge game, and that I can't think of his name right now. 24, the edge rusher that's leading the conference in sacks. He had a really good game, and Arkansas put up. Well, I don't want to say put up a fight, but they fought.
Mm-hmm.
They fought. They didn't put up a fight, but they did fight. And
it's just really rough on them right now.
I think a little bit Tennessee did too.
Explain Mizzou. Do you think Mizzou knows the NCAA decision and they maybe have quietly, tacitly stopped playing? I don't want to use the Q word.
Yeah, I hope not. But Barry Odom, I just think he really has a grip on that team. But then they walk out there and they play. And you don't see anything good happening. You don't see anything good happening with
especially
them.
On the road. They're a different team.
They really are, and I don't know it. I'm not sure that it just looks like some of the chemistry, and it may start at the quarterback position. I don't know that. Hadn't heard that. That's just me watching body language
I'm with you.
and watching how they warm up and watch how they play.
And Coach, I'm with you. And on the look, we're in the transfer world. We're in the transfer portal world. That's fine. They've got those rights, but we're also in at this point in the year a little bit of the mercenary world. And if it starts going the other way, they really didn't sign up for good old State U, fill in the blank there, and they're ready. They're counting down. All right, 4 weeks to go, 3 weeks to go, 2 weeks to go.
Oh no question. That happens on most every. Well, it happens to every bad football team or average football team. You got a lot of guys doing it instead of you're getting where they're not coming. That's the police coming. I don't think they're coming to get me right now.
They're not.
I hope not.
Hey, look, we're always scared to hear sirens.
Always. They've got my attention. But that's right. But the teams that start counting it down and start knowing the days, because football's hard. Football practice is not fun. And you get guys that like Nick Saban, that keep you focused no matter what. And what a fit he pitched on the sideline when the guy lined up offsides.
Oh, he was so glad it happened.
Gave him an opportunity.
He was so glad. Two things this weekend that happened that he's so glad motivationally for. He was glad of that. He could go crazy, and he ought to send a gift basket to AP voters. Thank you for putting LSU number one.
No question. And they're probably he might have had some plants in there. He might have planted that. Hey, I'll buy you a steak dinner. Just put us down. Don't give us any first place.
Give us a little motivation, Johnny. Great visiting with you on this Monday. I'm glad you enjoyed the football this week. This coming week will be spectacular. We'll visit next Monday. Thank you, sir.
No doubt. We got the the biggest cocktail party in the world this week, and then
you coached in that game.
I did. It's fun.
Thank you for your time.
It. Have a good one, my man.
You got
Take care.
Love talking college football on Mondays with John Thompson. You know where I go on Monday. I always go to lunch at Jason's Deli on Monday. And this time of year, it's the good soup time of year. It's always soup season, but I like it after it gets a little bit cooler. And today, the great tomato basil, all the seasonal soups like the beef stew, it's in, and everybody enjoying that. You can get the cup or the bowl. And we're getting close to dinner time. If you want to have an early dinner or go out right now, great place to go is Jason Deli. Any of these locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And for this weekend, whatever kind of party you're having, whether it's Friday night getting ready for game day and the big SMU game, don't forget about Jason's Deli for the catering out at Tiger Lane on Saturday. You got to pace yourself. You got to have plenty of food, and you can do it with Jason's Deli. Don't forget about the catering anytime, anywhere. Go to jasonsdeli.com. All the salads, all the soups, all the meats, breads, spreads, all at Jason's Deli. Jason's Deli, all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selection, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. The great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar. And at the locations on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, wrap it up with the free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. And Jason's Deli and their entire staff, they say go Tigers for this historic week that we're going to have. The biggest week, I think, in Tiger football history leading up to the game on Saturday night. We break. When we come back, We'll wrap up hour 2. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Jim Gray from Westwood One with a Monday Night Football preview, sponsored by Dickey's Barbecue Pit. They deliver the Q to you. Head to Dickies.com or use the app. Week 8 wraps up with the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Miami Dolphins, who are still looking for their first win of the season. Mike Tomlin's Steelers are coming off their bye week and have won 2 of their last 3. Tomlin says they will continue to depend on Mason Rudolph under center and not worry about anything but winning.
I'm not anticipating anything other than us doing what we need to do to get out of stadiums with wins. We're not in the type of state that we can make any bold predictions about personality and things of that nature. We're going to do whatever is required for us to secure victory week in and week out.
Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will have the call on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, 0 heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. 0 heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
O'Reilly.
Prepare your vehicle for the weather ahead during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on batteries and accessories. Plus, save on your next oil change with 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Norsworthy.
Thank you, Drew Barrett. At this time on Monday, we always have our Ghoul Style segment. I think it's pretty obvious what it is today, and probably will be again next Monday, but the festivities for this week really just puts Memphis in such a great light, and I know all the people at Ghouls are so happy about that. All the locations in the greater Memphis area, Ghouls is never far away, from downtown to out east and all points in between, including part of the renaissance of the Overton Square. Got a Ghouls now in Olive Branch. All all the locations and all that great treatment. Massage, body treatments, facials, or just a haircut. Superior spa services and salon services. Mr. Sam Gould opened a barbershop in 1932, and a powerhouse was born. 87 years of a very well-earned reputation. It continues today as a family-friendly, as a family business atmosphere with upscale ambiance and superior customer service. They're not all family, but 450 Gould's employees to serve your every need. All the great locations and the time of the year for the best holiday gift you can give anyone. The gift card from Gould's. It's the gift you cannot go wrong with for anniversaries, birthdays, weddings, holidays. Make someone feel so very special with a Gould's gift card. Follow them on Twitter at Gould's Salons or their website, gouldsalons.com. It is the perfect gift, that Gould's gift card, for really any time of the year, but especially the time of year we're entering into. My style goes to our friend Drew Barrett, who just tweeted you can follow Drew on Twitter at dbarrett36. And it has been that kind of 21st century. Drew just tweeted now that at College Game Day is official because of at Tiger Athletics. I've gotten to go to game day, football and basketball, Final Four, national championship game, 2 football conference championships, multiple basketball conference championships, 7 bowl games. I'm a lucky guy. Hashtag Go Tigers Go. It culminates Saturday.
It really brings it all together.
It does. But Saturday, I guarantee you Mike Norvell, this will be some of his message this week. Saturday will not be a culmination to him. It's the beginning for him. And for you, you're right to be thankful of this golden age of both sports. We were talking the other day how hard it is, heck, to do it in one of them. And the Tigers doing it in both.
I mean, it truly is a great time to be a Tiger fan. Just the first time in school history, both basketball and football teams are ranked. College Game Day coming into town. The ABC primetime game, which I think people are starting to kind of lose that amongst all this game day fury of how that is just as important, if not more.
I think 6:30 is better than turning right around and playing like at 11 or at 2:30.
Yeah, I do too.
Now, when it's on site, when they get like when they're at Red River Shootout, and the years they've been there, they usually do that last segment inside the stadium because because all the fans are in there. There's not anybody around the stage anymore. That's pretty fun. But Saturday, 8 to 11, fever pitch. It'll continue. Then head home, maybe get a little rest, change your clothes, maybe a little nap, something like that, and then get out to Tiger Lane and enjoy that.
In primetime football and in the morning, you get to watch the 5 best minutes in TV every week. Then I'll sign up for it any day of the week. I love it. I cannot wait.
I know you probably don't, but used to on Fridays, USA Today would have their coverage map for college football, and like 21% of the country getting this game and 13% getting this game. Saturday night on ABC, the coverage map, 100% for the Tigers and SMU. 2 hours down, final hour getting ready to start, and we do it with Barrett Jones talking college football. He was on the call Saturday afternoon for LSU and Auburn. That's next. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
How you doing, people? And if you're in the market for a new Chevy car, truck, or SUV, new or pre-owned, see my guys at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. They will treat you like a star. It's simple as ABC. A is the All-Star Challenge to beat any written offer from any Mid-South dealer, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, better buying experience. They value your time and make it quick. C, customer care. They want you to be an All-Star family member for this car or truck and all the other ones you'll ever need. And before you head to All-Star and Olive Branch, check out the inventory at allstarautogroup.com. Silverados, Equinox, Traverse, Impala, Camaro. They have all you ever need with the best Chevy lineup ever. So don't go to Collierville, the Pike, or South Haven. Find new roads to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet. Minutes from anywhere in Memphis, or go to allstarautogroup.com. Just mention you heard about them on this station and you'll get a Malco movie gift card when you test drive any All-Star Chevy you want.
Right now, the Home Depot makes replacing your old carpet easy with more styles and colors to choose from. There's no better time to buy, with free installation on any carpet purchase of $499 or more, all by licensed local pros, backed for life. Today is the day for doing and saving with free carpet installation only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. For a limited time, $4.99 minimum purchase required. Typically $6.99. For license information, visit homedepot.com/license numbers. Valid through November 6, 2019.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
125 seasons of Ole Miss football.
Caught by Duke, he may go.
Dexter breaks a tackle.
Mike Wallace between 2 defenders.
The tradition continues.
He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Breaks a tackle. He's gone down the sideline. Touchdown, Ole Miss. He is a beast.
On your home for the Rebels.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Third and final hour starting on this Monday afternoon. Monday Night Football right here tonight from Westwood 1 between the Dolphins and the Steelers. Steelers heavy favorites in that one, as the Dolphins, they have waved the white towel. They've surrendered for the year. Steelers still trying to hang in there and trying to squeeze into a playoff. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 to be exact, Goodman Road in DeSoto County. DeSoto Auto Sales, they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, with the very high standards they have. That includes all the cars being checked out, head to toe, bumper to bumper, and an unlimited inventory at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model, if they don't have it on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down home environment. No high pressure sales at DeSoto Auto Sales. They care about your time, and they give you this promise. They know we're living in a world today that time matters, and they'll give you the ultimate car experience promise, where they will take care of your time. You go down, you meet with your sales rep, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork done, you're gone in about 45 minutes. It's that simple. Visit them online at DeSotoAutosales.com, 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Barrett Jones joins us now to talk college football from the weekend. He was on the call Saturday afternoon at Tiger Stadium for Tigers and Tigers at Tiger Stadium. LSU prevailed, and it sets up the big one now, number 1 ranked LSU against number 2 Alabama on Saturday, November 9th. After both LSU and Alabama will have open dates this week. He joins us now to talk that and college football. Barrett Jones, good afternoon to you. How are you on this Monday?
What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing great. Barrett, I know you join in the excitement that we all have. You know, when you played at Bama and for Alabama and for the SEC, I'm not going to say passe on game day, but it got a little baked in the cake. You kind of knew it was going to be there. For the University of Memphis, for Mike Norvell, for everybody here, what a historic day and announcement with the festivities, the Neil Diamond traveling salvation show of college football coming to town. It's fun, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be awesome, and I think it's just great for the town. It's I hope a lot of people come out. I don't know how many people have been to game day before, but it's a tremendous time. It's a lot of fun. They do a great job with it, making it fun. The game day signs are always a blast. So yeah, I think it's awesome. And now we just need to get a Memphis win. So that would put the icing there on the cake. But it's pretty cool, and it's really, I think, in a lot of ways a testament to not just Mike Norvell, but really a lot of coaches now, Justin Fuente, and guys that have kind of helped turn this program around and get it heading in the right direction. I'm not trying to say that Memphis, game day is the culmination, but it's certainly a big step in the right direction. It is a big deal because it's the greatest show in college football, and it'll be a lot of fun to have that be in Memphis.
You're right. It is not the culmination. It is not the ultimate confirmation, but boy, it's a big one for them, and especially at this time of year. First weekend in November, and they're having to decide between Cocktail Party and Memphis. And I think they, not just because I wanted it for Memphis, but I think they made the right choice for the organic, fun, rowdiness of the crowd. Because, been there, done that on Cocktail Party. Come to Memphis and celebrate Memphis and SMU.
Well, I think that's kind of what they found too, Brad. Is you look at North Dakota, South Dakota last week, and a lot of times the schools that have never had it before and are really jacked up and excited about it, they actually have a lot better reaction. And there's a huge crowd there, and they're really excited about it. So I kind of think that they like that from a game day perspective of making it really exciting and making it kind of the biggest show in town. Where you're right, in a lot of ways, the Cocktail Party, especially because it's in Jacksonville, it's not even a home campus. It would be fun, but it wouldn't necessarily be, most of those fans have probably been around game day a bunch. Whereas, the Memphis fans, the SMU fans, I think they'll make a huge deal about it, and there'll be a huge turnout.
Look, and I respect this. ESPN, they're putting on a show. They are in business, and they want a good, natural, rowdy crowd, and they're going to get it in Memphis on Saturday. And I think Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit are going to get a good game on Saturday night to call. You had a good one to call it. I can't believe once upon a time 23-20 was not a defensive game, but 23-20 today suffices as a defensive game. That was a defensive game Saturday in Baton Rouge, wasn't it?
It was definitely a defensive battle, and I thought that LSU's defense in particular. Well, honestly, both defenses played outstanding. Let's start with actually Auburn. I mean, I thought Kevin Steele had a great plan against LSU because that LSU defense had been dynamic all season. Offense. They scored 50 points a game, and Kevin Steele just had a masterful plan. Basically, his strategy was he was going to try to stop the run with his D-line and put two high safeties back there all game. And the reason most people haven't done that is because they don't have Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson and Nick Coe and guys like that up front. And so the ability to have guys like that up front that are able to stop the run, and man, Derek Brown, by the way, is just an absolute monster. If you've never watched him play, he is a stud.
I'll see him this Saturday.
Getting to see him in person. He dominated that game in a lot of ways. Even though it might not show up on the stat sheet, he took 2 and 3 blockers so often and let those linebackers and other guys make plays. And that's why it was so difficult. And finally, they got to where they were running the ball, and a lot of that is just discipline of Joe Burrow to be able to hand the ball off. I think a lot of people, and I said this on the broadcast, when they hear the term RPO, they kind of forget that means run pass option. They hear RPO now, and everyone assumes, well, that means the quarterback's going to throw fake the handoff and throw a quick slant. Well, no, that's not what it means. That means the quarterback's got to be disciplined enough to actually read the linebackers, read the safeties, and sometimes that means hand the ball off. And Joe Burrow had a lot of RPO opportunities where actually handed it off, and it was the right decision, and it led to Clyde Edwards-Helaire having a big game. LSU's defense, on the other hand, I thought they had their best game of the year as well, and they're peaking at a good time here heading into Alabama. They're finally healthy. They have Clavon Chason back, their talented pass rusher. Derek Stingley, if you've never heard that name, which most SEC people have now by this point, he is the number 1 recruit in the nation last year, a true freshman corner, maybe the best corner I've seen so far in the SEC this season. True freshman for LSU who started every game and played basically the whole game. So he's an absolute stud. They got some studs back there. So I can't wait. It's all setting up for just a monster matchup on November 9th.
It will be, and it'll be a 2:30 game. It will not be on Saturday night. It will be a 2:30 game, and it will be a clash of the Titans for Kevin Steele's defense on Saturday.
Just as we predicted, by the way, Brad. I think it came down to exactly what we talked about. That CBS was not willing to give up that Alabama-Georgia game next year, and so they, that was the deal on the table with ESPN, and they decided to keep it at 2:30, which I think probably in the long run will be a good move.
I think good move for now and a really good move for next year. And they got to play the long game, and they're playing it for next year. Joe Burrow on Saturday in that Kevin Steele defensive plan. There aren't many teams. Alabama's probably the only one left on the regular season schedule that can kind of let that tape get around. But come playoff time, if LSU's in the playoffs, there will be people that can mimic that defense. Clemson and Brent Venables could, and I think will. How concerned do you think LSU's got to be of maybe the way got showed a little bit by Kevin Steele?
Well, it's a great question, and it's absolutely will be at least partially true because it's a copycat league, and people, the first tape they're going to put on now every week was going to be that Auburn tape, right, where they saw that defense that offense slowed down, and Joe Burrow. The thing is, if you look at Joe Burrow's stats, he really played pretty well. I mean, he was accurate with the football. They just really limited the big plays, and the big plays would have been so effective for LSU this season. The difference to me though is, in order to have that style game plan, it's reliant on having some dudes up front, some real good old-fashioned dudes. And Auburn has those guys. And, you're right, Alabama has some good players, but they don't have any dudes like Auburn does, especially in the run game. Auburn's D-line, as far as run stuffers, they're to me, the best in the country. I mean, you look at Marlon Davidson, Derek Brown, Nick Coe, Big Cat Bryant. I mean, they got a bunch of dudes up front that are really tough to move around. Maybe not a good pass rushing crew, maybe not the best pass rushing crew in the country, but a really probably the best the best run against the run defensive line in the entire country. So I think that's part of it, is that as much as people want to mimic it, they're going to have a hard time because they don't have Derek Brown.
But Baird, it is so hard now to get to the quarterback by the very definition of the rules. They do not want that quarterback being hit. They don't want that big, jacked up from the old days on Monday Night Football hit on these quarterbacks, because they don't want them injured and they don't want that visual. They want to take care of them. You just don't have time to get in there on them. And if in any blitz package, if you don't time it right, you will get scalded. You'll look bad.
Well, I totally agree. The other thing is, just like you're kind of mentioning, is that the quarterbacks now get the ball out of their hands so quickly. I mean, Joe Burrow, I was just observing that in the pass rush of Auburn, trying to get there. There's no chance they could get there. I mean, the ball was out so quickly that they really didn't have any hope to get to him probably on 2/3 of the snap. And the other thing is, that gets very frustrating as a pass rusher when you do that over and over, and you put your best move on a guy and the ball is gone. Eventually, that kind of takes a toll on you. So I think it's a combination of just what you said, and also the fact that a lot of these offenses are predicated on getting the ball out quickly.
For Bo Nix, freshman, he is obviously road games at Florida and a road game at LSU. Look, that'd be hard for anybody. Very different player on the road than at home. They just really wanted to ride him with that defense, and I think the injury to Whitlow hurt a little bit. But I just haven't seen a real difference maker at wide receiver for Auburn either.
Well, Seth Williams is the guy they want it to be. I'm not sure he's quite there. He's only a sophomore, and Stingley was just matched up man-to-man with him the entire night. And, again, I've already talked about Stingley, just how good I think he is. And so I think he's a good player, but I wouldn't call him a bona fide difference maker and a guy that you just can't leave. When I think of difference maker, I think of a guy that no matter how good of a corner you have to have some kind of bracket coverage help, or you're going to get burned pretty much every play. And Seth Williams, I think he's a solid receiver, but he wasn't solid enough where you have a dominant corner that can match him up and just kind of erase them for the night. He scored a touchdown late in the game, but it was when Stingley went out for 2 plays because he got banged up. So I just think Alabama has some of those guys who are kind of erasers, and to me, there's too many of them on the field for there not to be a lot of points for it. Now, I'm not saying Alabama's necessarily going to win the game, but when you have 4 of those kind of dudes that you can't just cover man-to-man, it makes it really difficult.
Barrett Jones, our guest, talking college football with us. He joins us every Monday at this time. Played on 3 national championship teams, All-American, played all 5 offensive line positions, Outland Trophy winner, and now the analyst on Saturday night ESPN College Football with Sean Kelly doing college football for ESPN National Radio. Where are you going this week?
This weekend, I have a busy week this week. I actually have Baylor and West Virginia on Thursday, and then I have USC Oregon on Saturday. So I will be pulling double duty.
very busy week. Boy, the job turned in by Matt Rule. They were patient with him. They knew when they hired him, they had to be coming out of that controversy and that disaster out of Art Briles, and he's performed for him, hasn't he?
He sure has. It's been a heck of a year by Baylor, and somehow it's still sort of under the radar. And I think if they can find a way to get through this game, it's going to set up a monster matchup with Oklahoma in a few weeks that I'll probably have. So, yeah, Baylor just quietly leading the Big 12. It's kind of been it's been funny, but Matt Rule's done a fantastic job.
When you watch Oklahoma, did you watch any of the – no, you were busy because that was right before you were going to work. But Saturday morning, I watched most all of the OU-Kansas State game, and after Kansas State finally got the lead, you could really feel it coming, big comeback for Oklahoma. But once a year, their defense gets them. I'm there on Lincoln Riley as the offensive genius and savant and whiskey, and I mean that all very nicely. But you got to have a defense every week, and once a year he gets caught by it.
Well, you do, and I actually did get to watch a good portion of the game and sitting there in the press room. And I think that the key is that the defense, the big word this year was that they'd gotten a lot better, and then it was a totally different. And look, watching them on tape, they have gotten a lot better. I mean, Alex Grinch, I think is the new coordinator's name. He's done a fantastic job as far as from what they were, right? I mean, they were horrible last year. I mean, horrible. Really, like on tape, it was hard to watch. It would make your eyeballs bleed.
Mm-hmm. That West Virginia game was, yeah.
But I think some of that was just the fact that they hadn't really played anybody yet. Especially any offensive juggernauts. And I'm not saying Kansas State's an offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination, but they were probably the best team they played offensively, and it showed up. I didn't say they did play Texas. I forgot about Texas. And there was a lot of points scored in that game. But it finally showed up that maybe Oklahoma's not quite as good as we thought they were. And I think we're finding out in general that maybe the Big 12 in general is not quite as good as we thought they were. That's kind of what I learned. That was my big takeaway from Saturday. And, if you kind of read the writing on the wall, unless a lot of things change, the Big 12 could be in some serious trouble just in general as far as the playoffs go.
Well, it could be, and their lead team, OU, really kind of put the rest of the league very much in peril. Jeremy Pruitt's Tennessee Vols, I think, are getting better. Are they?
I'm sorry, Brett, say again?
Jeremy Pruitt in Tennessee, they're getting better, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're getting much better. I think they're that's the big thing with Jeremy Pruitt that I've been watching all year is that the guys haven't quit on him. They've stayed the course, and it's finally showing up. That the guys haven't quit. They're hanging in there, and I thought they played their best game. I mean, I was very happy for Jeremy Pruitt, and man, if they can finally get somebody in there to play quarterback, I think they'll be in good shape moving forward.
Boy, you just cannot make it now without one that gets something done at quarterback. You can't have just the little passive guy that gets the snap and gets the right play, but he doesn't. You've got have to have a guy that makes a difference at quarterback.
Well, that's the day and age we're in, and look, that's the same thing I've been saying about Wisconsin for a few weeks. Is that Wisconsin they were a good team, but I'm just as much as I hate to admit it, I don't think the game manager strategy is going to work anymore. You have to have a difference maker. With the way the rules are right now, you got to have somebody who's going to be able to make plays down the stretch. If you want to be a championship team, now you can be a good team. Wisconsin's a really good team, but there's going to be times in every game now with the rules the way they are, where you must have a difference maker back there who understands and can take advantage of the rules and the way they are, and especially the RPO game.
And I was big. In fact, I said, and I could end up looking very foolish with this, on the coaching carousel the year that Jeremy Pruitt was hired by Tennessee. That was the same year that A&M was able to extricate Jimbo Fisher out of FSU. So it was a big one to compare it to. But I thought Tennessee had the best hire that year. So far, it hadn't looked like that. But a friend of mine with Tennessee connections, a longtime member, he was an equipment manager in college, and then he was in the sports information office. My friend David Grimm, he tweeted this yesterday, and I thought it perfectly captured the difference between Jeremy Pruitt and Butch Jones. Here's his tweet. He said, Jeremy Pruitt, coaches hard, brutal honesty, tough love, dominate line of scrimmage, accountability, aggressive to a fault. Butch Jones, gimmicks, slogans, jersey colors, design, endless nonsense, dishonesty, passive, no accountability. I think that's accurate, Barrett.
Well, that's strong right there, Brett. That's some strong words. I'm not necessarily going to agree with the Butch Jones side of that, just because I don't know Butch that well. And but I do know Jeremy Pruitt, and I think everything you said about Jeremy Pruitt's accurate. And I do think eventually will pay off. I mean, with this day and age, everyone wants a quick fix, but that job was not a quick fix. And I think you're starting to see that those guys are getting better and better. And look, you can see coaching on the field, because it's not like Tennessee's talent has gotten any better. They're still, in the bottom half of the league talent-wise. But you can just see the coaching taking effect and these guys getting better and better, and a little bit of belief starting to creep in. And that's a big deal in a program when you start to believe that you're able to win those kind of games.
This week, the cocktail party between Florida and Georgia. Next week, Alabama and LSU. More next week for Alabama and LSU. But this week, the intensity in both buildings leading up to kickoff, it's off the charts, isn't it?
Oh, it's off the charts. There's no doubt. There'll be bye weeks this week for Alabama and LSU, and they won't totally prep for each other. They'll do some bye week stuff, but it will absolutely be some high intensity. And those are the kind of weeks where you don't have to tell anybody to practice hard. Guys are going to practice hard regardless. And to me, that's where it shows up. Is everybody wants to play well once the game comes around, but the practices on these weeks were so crisp. And actually, I think some people think, well, maybe the coaches are yelling more. There's way less yelling on these weeks, right? Because, the coaches, they don't have to yell. Right. Guys are jacked up, ready to roll. They're flying around and making plays.
It's all business. Open date week, is that about getting well and kind of getting all the clutter out of your mind before next week?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. That getting well is good, but man, open day, we got better on open day week every week. Where I was at Alabama, guys, we would go back, and especially those 2s and 3s would get a lot of reps. And you go back in the first 3 days, the way we did at Alabama would always be going back to just base what we do, right? There wouldn't be any talk of opponent. And then after that, you kind of start to sprinkle in some opponents. But really, you kind of just go back to your base fundamentals of blocking and tackling. And it's nice to kind of get back to those sometimes.
Barrett, we got to go, but I swear, I think somebody, I know coaches meet in the spring, and maybe the whole staff will go meet in the summertime with people. And you probably, you can't, no, you don't probably do it. You can't do it in the fall. I think if people could just try to replicate Alabama on Tuesday and Wednesday during the season, open date during the season, and then the campus-only bowl practices, people would be way ahead just doing that.
Well, there's no doubt. You got to earn it, Brett. You said it. That's exactly what made Alabama better, was earning it every day on the practice field.
And that's what it is about. Barrett, we thank you for your time today. We'll visit again next week. You got a busy week this week. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it, man.
You got it, talking college football with Barrett Jones. And that Alabama way, that Alabama system, what they do on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they have the luxury of it with all those players. Barrett mentioned the 2s and 3s. A lot of people, you don't want to waste your time on your 2s and 3s. They're not very good, and it is largely a waste of time, especially the 3s. But at Alabama, they can get better game week, unlike most people. LSU can afford that. Georgia and Florida and a couple others. Clemson now in that league. Everybody knows the ones that can, but then it gets serious for that big game. And I think he's right about the focus on game day here. Just quite frankly, we'll enjoy it more. I really believe that. We appreciate it more.
I think we will. I mean, I know you see a lot of people naturally, especially on Twitter, where, like you said during the break, if it rains $100 bills, somebody's going to complain, and that's where they go to complain. So people are, around the nation are somewhat complaining that it's not at the cocktail party, but that Georgia fan that's going to the cocktail party, he's seen game day multiple times. That Florida fan, he's seen game day multiple times.
They're
Heck,
practically
twice this
roadies
year.
for it.
Exactly. I mean, why does it make some people so mad that they've got to that game day goes someplace different, not in a Power 5? And it's not like they're patting us on the head. I mean, last week against North Dakota State and South Dakota State, while they're both two very good FCS programs, it's kind of a pat on the head. When they go to James Madison, that's a pat on the head. This wasn't a pat on the head. We earned this.
Now Saturday, I did watch more of the Fox pregame show than I've ever watched collectively in my entire life.
That's the one with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush on it, right?
Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Coach Urban Meyer, Rob Stone as the host. really good. I enjoyed it.
I wonder how many times Brady Quinn and Reggie Bush have talked about the Bush Push.
A bunch.
They have to.
And you could tell that Urban Meyer really glad to be back at the Horseshoe on the banks of the old Intangi in Columbus, and greeted there. And at the very end of the show, they asked him, said, really fun setting. He said, no, this is a great place. And he loved it. And he made a comment during it. I'm not so sure he's not right. He said Ohio State, not just the best team, and they go hand in hand, but he says the best roster in college football. And I think the first 35 guys at Ohio State, they may be better than the first 35 at Bama and LSU and Florida and Georgia this year. Now, he's very partial to it.
Yeah, he is very partial. I mean, as far as best roster goes, I think you still have to give it to Alabama because, I mean, if we're talking about a roster, we're also talking about the 2s and 3s, and I'd take Alabama's 2s and 3s over LSU's 2 and 3s, Ohio State's 2s and 3s.
First 30. First 40 first 30, 35.
Right.
First 40 may still be Bama. But, somewhere in that first 40, even in that first 30, for sure in the first 25, you have to include the kicker.
Yeah, you do.
And that's never been the strong suit of Bama.
No, I never understood that with how well they can recruit every other position. How are they not going out and at least offering the scholarship to the best high school kicker out there just to make sure
when it's been so glaring that
it's been so bad
it's going to catch you.
I mean, it's been bad as long back as I can remember. Alabama.
I'm looking forward to going to Auburn. I've said my first favorite place to go to a game in the SEC. It is Oxford. It was before I ever worked for them, and it still is now. Second place for me is Georgia, and don't go there very often. Hadn't been there since 2012. Ole Miss doesn't play there again until 2023, and a lot of places in the East, it's like we're not in the same league. But every year, I get to go to LSU in the even years and to Auburn in the odd, and I love going to a game on the Plains and looking forward to seeing Bo Nix. Watched and covered and followed and okay buds with his dad when he played there and later, and looking forward to seeing Bo Nix and that defense at home, and it is some defense. It is a national championship caliber defense. They just didn't have enough on offense this year in a very competitive SEC year. Hey, everybody, if you're in the market for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, new or pre-owned, see my friends at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. I was down there this morning. They will treat you like the star that you are. Simple as ABC. A, the All-Star Challenge to beat any written offer from any Mid-South dealer, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, better buying experience. They value your time, and they make it quick. And C, the customer care. That's what keeps you coming back. They want you to be an all-star family member for this car, truck, and all you'll ever need. Before you head to All-Star and Olive Branch, check out the inventory at allstarautogroup.com. Silverados, Equinox, Impala, Camaro, Traverse. Best Chevy lineup ever. Don't go to Collierville, The Pike, or South Haven. Find new roads to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevy, minutes from anywhere in Memphis, or go to allstarautogroup.com. Mention you heard about them on this station, and you'll get a Malco movie gift card when you test drive any All-Star Chevy you want. 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line, 67129 at the First Bank text line. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. We're getting ready to have our Big Four for Monday Night Football and a Monday Night Football preview of Dolphins and the Steelers. That's next. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
I love successes in business. 20 years ago, a guy named Matt Eflin decided when he graduated from the University of Memphis, he was going to get into the insurance business. And man, did he ever get into it. Now, he's got several offices around the area, all to protect you. The main one is in Bartlett, 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. And the reason Matt is so successful, he's very young, but he's been so successful because he has a unique approach. He tries to have a one-on-one evaluation with each individual to check out their insurance needs. And he specializes in all types of insurance, personal insurance, business insurance. Basically, he sits you down and he asks you whether it's a business or whether it's your home, your family, What's the most important thing you want to protect? And then he figures out your options, collaborates with you, and voila, you're protected. 901-757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
Hi folks, Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Come to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get end of summer deals. Right now, save over $9,400 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LTZ 71 All-Star Edition. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $22,995. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. HollyChevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LTZ 71 All-Star, stock number N3607. 2018 Chevy Malibu, stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify and finance with GM Financial and have a 2005 or newer GM product. Prices don't include tax, tag, title, registration. Take delivery by 10/31/19. See dealer for details.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Steelers, a very lusty 14-point favorite at home tonight at Heinz Field over the Dolphins. 2-4 Steelers against 0-6 Dolphins. Both of them hit really tougher times. A lot of changes with the Dolphins. You just wonder if the Steelers don't get it corrected, will they make the change with Mike Tomlin? I was in Nashville yesterday for the Titans game, and I love Mike Vrabel, and I think he will be one of the good ones. I won't throw great on him, but he will be one of the good ones of the game. But, boy, that fake field goal, or going for it on fourth down, lined up with the field goal kicker out there. They're scared of Cody Parkey. They are. But then to have
He did go 2 for 2 yesterday.
He did, and he was solid pregame for what that's worth. It doesn't matter a lot pregame, does it? But then in the game, he was 2 for 2, and the Buccaneers, with all the turnovers and a couple of very questionable calls, really gave that game to the Titans. But if I'm in short yardage, I don't mind going for it. But either kick the field goal or hand it to Derrick Henry instead of giving it to your punter who really didn't have on a real uniform.
And because they never do.
Because they never do.
Because they're not supposed to be getting hit in the first place.
And he was crushed. And he did not want to get hit like that. I wouldn't either. But the Steelers and the Dolphins tonight with the right now in the NFL, it's New England. Would you even think anybody could challenge them in the AFC?
No. I mean, I'd like to say that
Colts maybe with a great plan.
Maybe. I mean, the way that they've somehow been able to play and squeak out wins this year with Jacoby Brissett playing incredibly well. I'd like to say my Ravens, and we'll know more next weekend as they are the Sunday night game, Ravens and Patriots. But I don't even think we can. I mean, we're 5-2 right now.
All right, let's kind of write tomorrow's headlines. Let's write late January's headlines today. So we're here on the Monday after the AFC Championship game. Do you really believe the headline's going to be Gardner Minshew leads Jags over Patriots at Gillette Stadium?
No.
Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans upset the Patriots at Gillette Stadium.
I think that's exactly what I predicted.
I think
so. I would believe.
I think it is. That's a lot more likely than the first one and this one.
It's a lot more likely, but sitting here now with the Patriots undefeated this late into the season, I don't even know if I believe it.
Josh Allen or Ryan Tannehill with Titans and Bills?
Neither. Wouldn't believe it.
A healthy Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs
would believe
upset New England at Gillette Field.
I'd believe that.
Gillette Stadium. Lamar Jackson and your Ravens.
I don't believe it.
Jacoby Brissett back in New England upsetting the Patriots.
Don't believe it.
No. And that's the ask that you have to ask right now for that headline come third or fourth Monday in January.
Yeah, they're just way too solid, and Tom Brady's playing at the age of 42 like he's 32, and they're just a phenomenal team, and that defense is probably one of the best defenses I've seen in the league in at least the last 10 years, the way they're playing.
Belichick's calling cards. All right, the big four all-time for Steelers and Dolphins. We had the Steelers once earlier this year, and I think my four then, I started with defense. I started with Mean Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, more defense with Jack Lambert, and Franco Harris. So I had Bradshaw, Franco, Mean Joe, Jack Lambert for my big four back then. So I'm going the next four after that first four, and I'm going to stay with one defensive player, Jack Ham at linebacker out of Penn State, out of linebacker U. And then I go to those two wideouts of the 70s, Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, and then to the anchor of the team, Hall of Famer, center, Mike Webster. So I stayed 70s with all 8 of my guys. Boy, you can tell when the NFL was kind of branded into my brain, can't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Troy Polamalu, he's a pretty good player, isn't he?
Pretty
Big
good.
Ben,
Yeah.
Hines Ward, Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I remember when we did the Steelers before, I did 2 lists. I did an actual top 4, and then I did top 4 of players that I've seen to kind of erase most of those guys from the 70s. But now, sitting here, I can't remember who actually put on my list.
I'm sorry.
So I'm just going to kind of combine the two in my top 4. Number 1, I did put Troy Polamalu, Jerome Bettis at 2, Mel Blount at 3, and I don't remember if I had Jack Lambert in there on my first 4. If I didn't, I definitely should have, so I'll put him in this one.
Yeah, and we're leaving out Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
Who was Hall of Famer and really good.
I had him about 9 on my list.
I think if I had to go 2 more and then go to 10, I really think I'd go Mel Blount as my next guy, and maybe L.C. Greenwood, defensive end from the Steel Curtain, as my next guy. So I'm 10 deep on Steelers, and I haven't really gotten to, honestly, the more modern era. And it is. So the 70s, they were a long time ago, and the Steelers under Chuck Noll in the 70s, really starting with the Immaculate Reception on December 23rd, 1972, in a playoff game against the Raiders. And because of a quirk in how they did playoffs then, even though the Dolphins were undefeated, the 72 Dolphins, right? Undefeated.
Yeah.
Where do you – boy, you're going to kill my generation again, Drew. That look on your face. So who do you think had home field advantage in the AFC Championship game that year? The 72 undefeated Dolphins or the Miracle Steelers coming off the Immaculate Reception? Naturally, who do you think would have home field advantage, Drew?
Naturally, the undefeated Dolphins.
They didn't. They didn't.
And that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, just not a lick, does it?
No.
Predetermined.
And come on, I mean, even predetermined. How about we predetermine? Look at a weather chart here. Where do we want to be in December?
Of all things.
Yeah, I mean, Miami or Pittsburgh.
An AFC Championship game was played in Pittsburgh the next week after the Immaculate Reception, and the Dolphins won it. All right, for the Dolphins, not many additions lately. You could argue Jason Taylor.
I'm not only arguing, I've got him in there.
Okay, you sure could have Zach Thomas in there.
You can argue that one.
I think at one time they were brothers-in-law. I think.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that one up.
I almost went with Ricky Williams.
I did too. Yeah, I was this close to pulling the trigger on it.
Such a great player with the Dolphins. And other players from more modern era, but I didn't. I went way back, not as far back to the 70s with number one. Number one's easily Dan Marino. I mean, you have
we
to
can
start
agree
that.
on that one, yes.
So Dan Marino, and then still their all-time leading rusher, Larry Zonka. He's still the all-time leading rusher over Ricky Williams. And then I went the quarterback of the 70s, Bob Greasy. And you talking about how statistically driven things are now. If you put in Bob Greasy's numbers now for a quarterback, not a chance he gets in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's nothing like these eye-popping numbers that we've gotten so used to now. It's just, frankly, part of the game. But he was good then. He was so steady then and could make the big throw when he needed to. And then my fourth for Dolphins' big four, I went with Dan Marino's number one receiver and all-time leading receiver in yardage in Miami Dolphins history, Mark Duper. It was tough for me to leave out Ricky Williams over Mark Duper. The next one for me, Paul Warfield, Mercury Morris, Bob Kuechenberg at linebacker. Dave mentioned Nick Bonacani. He was so key. Jake Scott was MVP of the undefeated year in the Super Bowl out at the Coliseum out of Georgia. Number 13, Jake Scott, he was the MVP that day, and really a turnover fest, or really a goofy game that got goofier than anything ever with Garo Yepremian. I don't think they even called it a pass attempt. I think it ended up being recorded as a fumble, that famous whatever attempt it was.
Once again, y'all just did not know what y'all were doing back then.
Boy,
you really just had to make stuff up on the fly. And I guess that's what happens when you're inventing things.
True. When I was thinking about that 72 playoff nugget, I thought, I don't need to bury myself anymore with Drew of us being the original members of the Flat Earth Society in the 70s, weren't we?
Y'all really were. Y'all had so many weird ideas that you look back on and know for a fact it didn't work.
What, Drew? 3 free throws to make 2 in the NBA? What's so weird about that?
It's just weird because it doesn't count. And why have odd number on the road, even numbers at home?
Yeah, that was
ties. You know how much I hate ties.
Hey, we just all go home and both teams won. And we in that our era, our generation, we get on the everybody gets a trophy. We really gave everybody a trophy.
You really did. You like ties.
Yeah.
So if you both win, then nobody loses, then therefore everybody gets a trophy.
But as old people go, I don't give it to this generation as much as some.
No, you don't.
I don't.
And that's
because every one of them I work around, like you and friends with around. I'll use Barrett Jones as an example. Heck, I got very reasonably adjusted nephews that are in all the youngsters I deal with at Ole Miss that are in that generation. They're all exactly opposite the image and the caricature for it. If you deal with them, you don't find that at all. If you just read the headlines, you think worst generation ever because that's all it says. Then the practicality of dealing with them, I have not found that.
It's just like any other stereotype. Once you kind of start to put everybody in a box, you realize
how stupid is that?
It's very stupid, and you realize that not everybody fits in the box. Just like not every millennial out there is lazy and demands everything given to them. There's probably baby boomers out there that aren't the best people either.
Well, yeah, you're right. Heck, I probably was among that for a long time, and I sure knew some of them. Your Dolphins' Big Four.
My Dolphins' Big Four, I had to have Bob Greasy, Jason Taylor, Larry Zonka, and Dan Marino at the number one.
So good for you with Jason Taylor in there. That was a tough one.
With most of my lists, I'll always go to, all right, who are the first two people I think of? Mm-hmm. And Jason Taylor, it was Dan Marino and Jason Taylor, and then Ricky Williams was number three.
Now, I almost did. Next week, I think next week's Monday Night Football game, let me make sure. I know it's Giants and who is it next week? Giants and Cowboys. Have we done the Cowboys yet?
We have not done the Cowboys yet.
Cowboys will be tough.
It'll be a lot like the Steelers.
But then for
way
Giants,
too many good options.
Number one Giant ever is maybe the greatest defensive player ever, isn't it? Lawrence Taylor?
Yes, easily.
Come on now. Eli Manning's in the top four, isn't he?
Yes, I'll put him in my top four next week. He's two-time Super Bowl MVP.
And all those yards. Now, the greatest Giant ever is the greatest defensive player ever, LT, right?
Yes, without a doubt.
For the Cowboys, you want to kind of go more recent than either Dave or myself, right?
I'm going to, yes. Since there are so many great
Tony
options.
Romo's not in there, is he?
No, he's not. You got to have some playoff success to be in there.
Is he top 10? We're just doing 4, but is he top 10?
Of my lifetime, if you count the 90s Cowboys that I was 2 to 5 in when they were playing, then probably not. But if you count to where I guess my sports memory starts about 7 or 8 years old, then he'd probably be 10.
And would Roger Staubach be in your top 4?
If I go full broad, then yes.
Over Troy Aikman?
I'll probably have both of them in there.
Don't ask me why I was looking things up like this weekend, but I did. It shocked and a little bit saddened me that it's happening. Of course, it happens with the passage of time, and it naturally has to happen. It's just called life and sadly death. Roger Staubach is the 4th oldest living former Heisman Trophy winner remaining. Johnny Laettner at Notre Dame wins by a mile. Second's Paul Hornung. Third is Terry Baker, who holds the longest rush in AutoZone Bowl history, a 99-yard run, and then Roger Staubach. And then you get into Mike Garrett and Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier's in the
he's in his late 70s, ain't he?
Yeah. I mean, it happens. When we come back, we wrap up this day with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
I'm here with Robert Cox, kitchen manager of the Rendezvous Restaurant. Tell us about those great ribs at the Rendezvous.
Rendezvous stands alone in a unique barbecue style, only found in Memphis, Tennessee. We don't smoke our ribs, we char broil them. The guys cooking our ribs have been doing it for 30 years. Mr. Charlie Virgos taught the guys the technique himself, and still to this day, they teach newcomers that come in the door. After our ribs come out the pit, we pre-cut every order, so you easily can tear them apart. We baste our ribs on a plate and sprinkle our seasoning all over them.
So Robert, are ribs what everyone comes to the Rendezvous for?
The beef brisket is now our second best seller behind the ribs. We also have lamb riblets, half chicken, pork shoulder, chopped chicken, cheese and sausage plate. Nachos are fantastic. We also carry a Greek salad. The list goes on.
Robert, where can we find out more about all of these great options?
Our restaurant menu is online at hogsfly.com, and recently we just added our catering menu online.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous Restaurant, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis in the alley since 1948.
New Life Medical Center has moved to a new, larger location that allows them to better serve their patients. I go to New Life Medical Center for testosterone replacement therapy, which is one of many things they do. They also treat erectile dysfunction and can relieve the pain of joint injuries with stem cell and platelet-rich plasma treatments. They also take care of patients with diabetes, high blood pressure, sick visits, and much more with no appointment necessary and minimal wait times. New Life Medical Center is now at 9160 Highway 64. That's just off I-40. Stop in and see what they can do for you.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for football grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working the percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world. And I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
You know, crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way? It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
Did you throw those ears for him? He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast and they bring you crunch time every day. Now, look, tomorrow I'm going to be out tomorrow and Wednesday, just taking 2 days off. Nothing at all wrong, not pursuing other business interests. Nothing I know of, just going to be out tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll be back here on Thursday. I learned today, best week in Tigers football history, getting ready to develop. The eyes of the college football world on Memphis, on the Memphis Tigers. A week-long ad, Saturday, literally from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock that night. ESPN, the king of college football, will be promoting Memphis Tigers football. For it to end perfectly, it's a lot like going on a bowl trip, Drew. What's always been my theory about how good's the bowl trip?
It's only good if you win.
Tigers win, perfect week, best week ever. If they don't, it'd still be really good. But for it to all end with the perfect ribbon around it, Tigers need one more point on Saturday over SMU, just like they did over Tulsa. What'd you learn today?
Learned today that the NCAA's top decision makers will be meeting tomorrow in Atlanta for their first formal discussion about modifying rules that currently prohibited college athletes from making money by selling the rights to their name, image, or likeness. So this whole college athletes getting paid thing could start soon.
Oh, here it comes. Then the governor of Florida, for what it matters, a Republican. The governor of California, a Democrat. So it is a bipartisan thing. And the governor of Florida, I can't think of his first name, Ron DeSantis, he's for it. Is that his name? I'm not sure if that's his name.
I think so. I don't know.
But anyway, he's for it. Look, it's coming. The poo-balls of college football are going to have to figure it out. Could have done without Mike Vrabel getting bailed out yesterday, but it should have been a fumble return for a game-winning TD for Tampa Bay. I don't mind going for it, as I said earlier, but they're scared of Cody Parkey. I don't blame them. But give it to Derrick Henry, not your punter, who didn't even have on a real uniform. He had on a little kid uniform you get from Santa when you're 8, and he looked like it. What is it you could have done without?
I could have done without the talk of robot umpires in Major League Baseball today.
And it can't pick up the breaking pitches.
It can't, and that's the thing. After Garrett Cole threw a slider on a 3-2 count to Victor Robles, who had runners on base, there's 2 outs, it's a 3-2 count, and he lets a ball close go. It's not the umpire's fault. It's Robles' fault for not swinging the bat. So let's not automatically blame the umpire, and let's just get back to baseball. You either swing, try to put the ball in play, or keep the bat alive. If it's close, swing at the ball. Don't put it in the hands of the umpire.
You know, it's why I've always said when they check on the check, if they swung or not, there's really no such thing as the check swing. You either check or you swing. But when they check, if I'm the first or third base umpire, I'd always call it a strike. Be ripping away.
Swing the bat, son.
What are you keeping a close eye on tonight?
Going to keep a close eye on college game day news, Monday Night Football, Lemoyne Owen at FedEx Forum against the Tigers, and, of course, Bluff City Law tonight.
I'm going to keep a close eye. Let me know all about the Bluff City
Law. I will.
Okay?
I'll keep you updated.
I'm going to keep a close eye on Tigers in their second and final preseason game, de facto preseason game against Lemoyne Owen. Will Lemoyne Owen keep it closer than the 33-point margin that CBU lost by? And it doesn't sound like James Wiseman's going to play again tonight. I'm not worried until we get into real games on that front. I don't think it's anything to worry about yet. But getting a little bit closer, Monday Night Football, Dolphins and Steelers. Dolphins are closer to being Washington than they are to becoming a great team again. And there's something in common for both Washington and Miami, both with meat-headed owners that have really wrecked great franchises. Chris Paul back in Houston tonight with Oklahoma City. They'll boo him, won't they?
Yes.
They should. Dave and Drew back with you tomorrow. Talk to you then.
Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football, sponsored by Dickey's Barbecue Pit. They deliver the Q to you. Head to Dickeys.com or use the app. From Pittsburgh, it's the Steelers hosting the Miami Dolphins. Kurt, size this one up for us.